Hello, all guys, gals, and non binary pals. Welcome to the newest episode of the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast, brought to you on Spotify, on Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. I'm Austin. I'm a knockout, watched a lot of wrestling.
I'm David. I'm a noob, haven't watched nearly as much wrestling, and Austin, I know my place cosmically on this podcast, what have you. It is to be the get along guy, the guy whomst is presented something and says, yes, I'm rolling with this now. This is my lot. Sometimes that is to be pleasantly surprised. Many times that is to be fucking tortured. So I, having a bit of a foresight as to what we will be covering this episode for some reason that tickled your fancy, if you will, I have decided that I am going to I'm going to activate chill David mode. It's like we're on a nice vacation. We're vibing. We got the hat. We're blasting bare chest with the Hawaiian shirt. We got the drink. Life's good, man. Life's terrific, and nothing will dissuade me from that fact.
All right, so I'll let you know that tonight's episode is infamous for being the first episode of WCW Nitro when Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo were in charge.
Yep. Two men about whom I have no strong feelings whatsoever.
Yeah. So this is one of those episodes. It's like the Mae Young giving birth episode in that it's a super famous episode of wrestling, but not one that I would want to build an arc around in any way. And I just really wanted to cover this, especially when we're in the middle of a couple of WCW arcs right now.
Yeah, a whole glut of WC dub, if you will.
So tonight we're watching the April 10th, 2000 episode of WCW Monday Nitro.
That's 10 days away from April 20th, but unfortunately we will not be blazing it on this one.
I'm thinking if Nitro aired on 420. I don't think it did.
Probably not. No, because that would have been.
No, it would. 13. 420 would be a Thursday.
Thursday Nitro?
Yeah, because that's when Nitro aired. It was on Thursdays.
I thought it was Mondays.
No. Oh, excuse me. Thunder. Excuse me.
Oh,
okay. Thunder would be 420.
There we go. There we go. Speaking of what day WCW programming was on, I actually I had a realization that almost certainly Nitro and also by extension Raw aired on my actual for real birthday, because if I recall correctly, I was born on a Monday. And
well, that's interesting.
And so that means really it was just set in stone from the beginning. I mean, what are the chances that I was born on the same day as Raw and Nitro? 1 in 7.
What year for you?
98.
All right, 1998.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm right there with you. No, let's see. January 5th, 1998. Chris Jericho takes on Diamond Dallas Page. Ric Flair has some choice words for Bret Hart.
We might have to watch David's actual birthday episode of Nitro and Raw.
Yeah, I thought that'd be cute. I also had that thought. It'd be cute. Anyway.
I don't think my birthday is on a day anything was airing.
Probably not. No.
I was born on a Friday, so.
And that was pre.
Yeah,
Friday SmackDown, because it was Thursday. Was when it was OG.
Yeah, but when I was born, it was just Raw and Nitro.
Yep, SmackDown wouldn't have even existed then.
Sorry, folks, I'm kind of sick today. Sorry for the coughing. Anyway,
he's a real trooper for powering through this one. Everybody, send all their good vibes to Austin, please.
I did not watch 3 episodes of 2000 WCW to prepare for this episode to have this go up in vain.
Yeah, you really your sheer dedication to this is commendable, if a little batshit.
Yeah. So this is not only the first episode of the new regime, it is the go home show to Spring Stampede 2000.
All right, that's what is with them and doing season plus a synonym for fight as pay-per-view titles.
I mean, it works. Spring Stampede, WWE had SummerSlam.
It's
and
just
then
a mite
Fall Brawl.
repetitive, you know? And Bash, well, I guess Bash at the Beach isn't season, but you know.
Yeah. So I will go over the matches that have been announced for Spring Stampede.
Okay.
David, there's one problem.
Oh. What is that
My
problem?
notes are fucking blank!
Your notes are blank?
They have announced no matches for Spring Stampede yet.
Oh, wait, isn't this the Great Reset?
Yes, it is.
Oh, no. Damn, you had me going for a minute. I thought, like, your computer, like, deleted shit on you. That was good. You know what? You got me there. Oh, dear. Oh, my. Oh, no. What the shit do we have to talk about?
Because after Uncensored 2000, and I guess I will go over the results on that to give pointers for, I guess, what has been happening. Not that any of it matters. That's the point. They had 1 episode of Nitro. Okay. Then they had the spring break episode of Nitro. And they announced that Bischoff and Russo were going to take over the show. And so they booked a show where nothing happens so Russo and Bischoff can work with a clean slate.
How does that even work? Like, how do you justify a great reset in kayfabe?
Well,
Questions that I'm sure have very thorough and nuanced answers to them, and aren't just shrug emoji.
And then the April 3rd episode of Nitro, the one before this one, was a clip show. They did a best of Nitro clip show to both A, give Russo and Bischoff 2 weeks to come up with a first episode, and B, because that's also the same night as the Raw after WrestleMania 2000. So they took a fucking punt.
Bro. We are not decidedly in the 83 weeks anymore. We are long gone, baby.
No. And literally on spring break, the only fucking thing they talk about all night is they hype up that Russo and Bischoff are taking over. The 2 guys who revolutionized the world of professional wrestling in the 1990s are coming together like the mega powers of wrestling creative.
Tengo pregunta, por favor. How do they? What is Eric Bischoff? No, not Eric Bischoff. What is Vince Russo's like on-screen role? Because obviously we know in real life like what he's there for. How do they justify his existence in kayfabe? Like, what is he?
Well, sounds like this is the best time to do a little history lesson on Vince Russo in WCW.
Yes.
So basically, as we're going into the fall of 1999, Vince Russo is getting burnt the fuck out at the WWF.
How?
Because at this point, you got Raw, SmackDown is like also started up by this point.
Mm-hmm.
And Russo is getting paid relative peanuts for how much work he has to do. He, in fact, did not get a raise for when they added SmackDown. Vince didn't give any raises to his writing team when they moved to SmackDown.
Why would he? You just fuck you. What else are you gonna do with your
So
life?
he was getting burnt out, and Vince works them all like maniacs to the
Yeah.
point where Vince Russo is having a lot of personal family trouble because his wife feels like that she's single parenting their kids, and he's missing out on his kids' life and achievements because he has to work under the schedule of a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
And so Vince Russo goes to Vince McMahon asking to work this out, whether that's a reduced schedule or we'll keep the schedule I got, but you're going to give me a huge fucking raise for it.
Yeah.
And Vince's response, because he talks about how, like, I'm having trouble. I'm not getting to spend enough time with my kids. I'm not feeling like I'm raising my own kids. And Vince McMahon's response was, you make enough money, Vince. Why don't you just hire a nanny to look after your kids?
Oh my Jesus Christ! Why is everything Vince McMahon says a perfect look into his psyche?
Yeah, so needless to say, after that, Vince Russo was ready to quit.
Mm-hmm.
As you might be shocked to learn that Vince Russo does not want to work in the WWF anymore.
Really, I love when my rights as a worker and my dignity as a human being gets utterly trampled on by a man of the caliber of Vince McMahon. I don't see what the problem here is. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, so he calls up WCW and he basically negotiates essentially the deal he was looking for from the WWF. He didn't necessarily have less of a workload in WCW because at this point it's both Nitro and Thunder as well.
Yeah.
But he's getting paid way more money. The rumors, Vince Russo has never said out loud, like in public, what his contract was with WCW, but it's been rumored it was at least like a 3x raise for him.
Probably pretty based. I do not like the man they call Vince Russo, but you do have to have solidarity here, and bro, if brother didn't get the family time, he needed some kind of alternate compensation. So probably a good call there.
And WCW's heads were not as going to be as anal retentive as Vince is about like needing to be on call all the time whenever I want or need you to be anywhere.
Yeah, we're in Ted Turner land, baby. Like it's chaotic in its own way, but in terms of the people running the show, there's some chill vibes to be had here from what I understand. Ted's just kind of like really happy to be in wrestling,
Yeah. So Vince negotiates a new deal for himself in WCW and for his writing partner Ed Ferrara. I don't know if he's going to come up relatively soon or at all, but he did bring Ed Ferrara with him. The thing people most remember Ed Ferrara for is that in WCW, he played a Jim Ross impersonator character called Oklahoma that was basically just an excuse to do shitty Jim Ross impressions and make fun of the guy on live television.
Hey, fuck off. That's not your job. That's a 2020s wrestling podcast job. Get the fuck out of here.
That's Vince McMahon's job to make fun of Jim Ross until he wants to quit.
Well, that too.
You're stealing his bit.
Just everyone's getting ripped off here, past and future. Oh, baby.
Yeah. But anyway, he brought his fucking writing partner with him. And he basically sold himself as the reason why the WWF turned it around.
Which is kind of true.
Mm-hmm. There's a solid argument for it.
Mm-hmm.
So he sells himself as a savior who can fix WCW's woes. And oh boy, do they have woes right now. As this is happening at around September 1999. And during that time period, Eric Bischoff officially steps away from WCW. He was already kind of September 99.
Wait, but he showed up in fall of '99 to WCW. How quickly does he step away from WCW?
What do you mean he shows up in fall of '99?
You said fall. You said, oh, you started off this as fall of 1999, so I assumed that this was he shows the fuck up in fall of 1999.
And no, Bischoff leaves WCW temporarily in fall of '99. He was also just not feeling this job anymore.
So just for the sake of my timeline, when did he start with WCW?
Vince Russo starts in October. Eric Bischoff leaves in September.
Russo starts in October '98?
99.
He stepped away from WWF in September of '99.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said he stepped away from WCW. Okay, we're all good. We're all good.
Eric Bischoff steps away from WCW in September '99.
Ah, okay, all right, we're good. Okay.
Eric was also kind of losing how much he cared about this job anymore. In fact, he gave he's not even booking the shows anymore. Kevin Nash has been the booker since January.
That sounds like a good idea.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
No, Kevin Nash only kind of gives a shit about his own stuff on the best of times. And in the worst of times, he falls into that trap that wrestlers who book themselves run into. They care about their shit. Mm-hmm. They don't really care about everybody. That's different from like having to book hours of television a week.
Yeah. Which is a hefty fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the faint of heart.
I believe Kevin Nash was the booker when Rey Mysterio was unmasked.
Really?
Yes, I believe it was him, though I think Bischoff had some input in that choice. But
I will say
Kevin Nash was the booker.
I did learn from the Rey Mysterio Chris Van Vliet interview that the original plan for Eddie versus Rey at Halloween Havoc was Rey losing and getting unmasked. So this was not an idea that was absent to Eric Bischoff's mind.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Bischoff is out. Vince Russo is in. Mm-hmm. They get a new guy. I think Billy Bush, not that it's that important to know that name, becomes the president of WCW around this time after Bischoff leaves. He's just a Turner executive that has always been one of the bigger proponents of WCW within that corporate infrastructure. As few of those as they have.
Yeah, a dying breed, to be sure. That they're lucky they had one. Fuck.
Yeah, so they bring in Vince Russo and they hype him on television as the savior of them all, of this all. And
but how? Like, what do they say he's doing to be the savior?
Well, that's the thing. Is Vince Russo is here, and he has decided what WCW needs to do is you gotta play to the smart marks. You gotta appeal to the internet. So we're gonna start talking about Vince Russo as a writer. They talk about him as the writer and head of creative that saved the WWF, and now he will save WCW.
Shattering kayfabe before our very eyes. We're off to a fantastic start.
The first episode of WCW Nitro under Vince Russo's employ has Buff Bagwell act like a sullen loser in a match, and then lay down and get pinned, and then say to the camera, "Did I do a good job, boss?"
Okay.
Because Vince wants the smart marks to think that Buff Bagwell is going against is mad about the script that says he had to lose.
Man, this you've told me about shit like this before. The like that isn't in the script line, that infamous line, and I think you've talked about the Buff Bagwell thing before too. And
Mhm.
I've it there's there's a way like you could do this as a sort of tongue-in-cheek thing where you give Bischoff like an not Bischoff, Russo some kind of on-screen authority role and like Buff doing the like that's the did I do a good job, boss? And the that's not in the script line is playing into I don't know, like Russo having some kind of power to like I don't know influence like him like being a carny as an on-screen character, but like that requires him having a character that requires him eventually being defeated so you can make an actual story out of this.
Mhm.
Without any of that, this is it's fucking toothless and it's lame. It's very lame.
Like, I'm gonna quote. I read up all this timeline stuff. I'm reiterating from Nitro by Guy Evans, a really
Mhm.
fantastic book that details the history of WCW under Ted Turner's ownership. And they at this part of the story they bring up a good point. If you're someone who doesn't follow dirt sheets, which is a lot of the wrestling audience at this point, it's not
Yeah.
like it is today where most wrestling fans are on the internet in some capacity. You know, the internet's still a pretty nascent thing, and they have a huge casual audience. So
Yeah,
if you don't know any about that, this Buff Bagwell thing is nonsense. If you do know about that kind of stuff, you know this is not real.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
The audience that reads the Observer is going to be more is going to be less inclined to think this is a shoot. And that's the only audience that understands what's even supposed to be happening.
Yeah, that's why I talked about it in the context of making it a storyline, because then you can actually do something with it. With this, like yeah, like you said, the the people who get it won't buy it, and the people who don't get it just have no way of like interacting with it again because it'll have no narrative payoff. So it's just kind of a thing that happens. Like
Yeah.
this is not appealing to anybody. I like Vince Russo like flanderized himself and
Mhm.
seems to completely miss the entire point of what actually made his shit work in the WWF.
Mhm.
And it
Like
wasn't
the
shooty shoot bullshit.
Yeah, the book also gives a good example of how the Mr. McMahon character straddles this line correctly. Looking
Well, yeah,
back at
because
the
he's an
monster.
actual fucking narrative.
Here's the explanation about it. Right, is they look back at the Montreal Screwjob, which first of all that worked the smarks because it was real. It looked real
Correct.
because it was
It was
real.
real.
That did happen.
Yeah.
But then also you have Vince going on TV, and first of all, he doesn't say the word he didn't do the job.
Correct.
Instead, Vince goes on TV and says Brett failed to honor the time honored tradition as you're leaving the company, which is alluding to the idea that he wouldn't do the job without saying it's fake.
Yeah.
And
And
Vince,
again, like that has enough plausible deniability in there. Like you could just say in kayfabe, like Vince means he should have like laid down for Sean or something. Because again,
because he's
because like
leaving.
because he's leaving, and if we're in the early stage, like we're in the early stages of the Mr. McMahon character, who is known to be a little bit unhinged and deeply fucking maniacal. So like, yes, obviously my top guy should lay down for this asshole because he's leaving the company. Works in kayfabe too
Yeah,
within
and
the Mr.
Vince
McMahon character.
and Vince kind of portraying himself as the guy who decides who wins and loses is again playing around with the idea of Vince as the actual booker. But in kayfabe, he doesn't write scripts. He
Mm-mm.
just cheats. Like he didn't write the script of Montreal to say Brett should have lost, but then Brett didn't want to do that. The kayfabe is that he went down to ringside and paid off the referee to ring the fucking bell
Yeah.
and screw Brett over. Like he decides who wins and loses by cheating.
Correct.
In matches.
And he justifies it in his mind because, like, from the first, they set up is just fucked in the head. And he can justify this shit to himself and not skip a beat, not even think twice about the insane mental gymnastics it would take to actually get there.
Mm-hmm. But whatever. This is Russo's WCW now. Jeff Jarrett is talking about how he's got the stroke. Do you get it? Because the people who read the dirt sheets know that Jeff Jarrett was always a pet favorite of Vince Russo. So, he's got the stroke with the guy in charge.
Oh my fucking God. That one's less egregious.
That's why his finisher is called what it is. Like, this is...
What is his finisher called, even?
Like, his finisher is the stroke. Like,
I didn't know that. I don't know. I assumed it was called the fucking Bree-woo or something. I don't know.
This is the stroke. Jeff Jarrett is coming into his, final form of, he's calling himself. He says he's got the stroke. He's calling everybody slap nuts and slap asses.
Yes. Yes. How close are we to Bree-woo time, or is that not till TNA?
TNA is where he gets the Bree-woo theme.
Yeah. I will say, I feel like the Jeff Jarrett thing is, less egregious on its own, because you could say, you could say, the guy in charge is a corrupt piece of shit, and he'll, play favorites with people, and justify that in kayfabe. But again, it stops working, A, compounded with everything else going on, and B, realizing that they are fully acknowledging that Vince Russo, writes fucking scripts for this shit.
Yes.
And
despite Vince Russo not saying that he's not going to be an on-screen character authority figure, he told all the boys in the back that, and then he eventually becomes, not quite on-screen, but he introduces the character of the powers that be.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Where it's basically I've been told this is like George Steinbrenner and Seinfeld. I've not watched Seinfeld to get what the reference is.
Me neither.
But the idea is basically that wrestlers would come into his office and it would be staged in such a way that Vince Russo is entirely off screen. And so wrestlers are just talking to the powers that be off screen.
Yep. I remember hearing about this from you.
Yeah.
Man.
But, Russo's first tenure in WCW was very quick in that it didn't even make it into 2000.
Jesus Christ.
Because of, first off, Russo still feeling that burnout a little bit. He mentioned that he basically was trying to get paid for 2 years and then quit wrestling forever. That doesn't happen because he goes and works at TNA. But, that was his idea at the time. And basically, he is just constantly clashing with management.
Really?
Because here's the thing. USA Network, as it was a network willing to let things be a little bit raunchy. They wanted to be a little bit more adult, a little bit more hip and modern and saucy. And so they kind of didn't care what WWF did. They send WWF a letter that says, please stop saying these swear words on our TV show. And then WWF films D-Generation X reading the letter and saying all the swear words. Correct. And USA Network just thinks it's funny.
They said, you know what? Turnabout's fair play.
WWF, to be clear, was hurting for sponsors because of this kind of shit.
Yeah.
They were, but in terms of their relationship with their network, the network didn't fucking care. They loved it. They were getting big ratings for this crap.
Yeah, fair enough.
Meanwhile, WCW, Ted Turner is a more traditionally conservative kind of a company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't want that kind of stuff on their channels. WCW had always been PG. And while they
These
were
are the
willing,
guys. These are the guys that have fucking Turner Classic Movies as like a headline brand. For God's sakes, like you know what you're getting into here.
so they were willing to bend TV PG a little bit with an understanding that like Vince Russo is a TV 14 writer,
Yeah,
but
it's by nature. He
he
can't
was
help himself.
still constantly butting heads with standards and practices.
Fair enough.
Turner, if you listen to Vince Russo, to S&P had an axe to grind with him and was making up rules as they went along just to make complaints. And if you listen to Turner standards and practices people, they gave Vince Russo a list of things to not do, and he consistently flirted or skirted around or ignored those rules.
Really, you don't mean to tell me that Vince Russo is maybe a bit of a jackass that doesn't give a shit.
So that didn't help, and the ratings were not doing good. I mean, they were kind of holding steady. They weren't necessarily losing a big chunk of an audience, but they paid him a shitload of money to be the savior of WCW. And the ratings are just kind of the same as they've been. And while also annoying everybody in upper management about it.
So
Like
so
people are like calling into Turner or writing letters to complain about the new vulgar content on WCW.
and herein lies the problem that Vince Russo immediately proves that he's not worth the trouble. That just comes prepackaged with having Vince Russo working for you. Like he could get away with that shit in WWF to an extent because he was the guy that helped them beat Nitro and all that shit. But man, like as soon as you lose that clout, that ability, that aptitude, you no longer get to be the same fucking guy backstage. But of course, Vince Russo being Vince Russo, he can't fucking help himself.
Yeah, so they basically tell him like, look, after like 2 months, they're like, look, we're gonna change the arrangement here. You're not gonna be writing by yourself. You're gonna be writing by committee. And Vince Russo said, fuck that. I'm not doing that. I quit. And by I quit, I mean I'm going home and not doing and don't call me. So
Ha!
to be clear, they're still paying Vince Russo in the same way they are still paying Eric Bischoff, but neither of them are working right now.
Why? Oh, so Eric Bischoff just stepped away, but he didn't like quit or resign.
No, he was still getting paid.
That's fucked up.
He was
Man,
getting paid to hang out in his Montana ranch.
the Turner dollars just hit different.
So they put Kevin Sullivan in charge of the book at the start of the year 2000, and that goes poorly because
Really?
the boys in the back don't like Kevin Sullivan, especially the mid-carders. The mid-carders loved Vince Russo because one of Vince Russo's best philosophies as a writer was everybody's got to be doing something.
Correct.
Like whether you got a gimmick, a weird gimmick, or you got a storyline, or whatever. Everybody is always doing something. And so all the mid-carders love Vince Russo, especially because he also was of the belief that Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan were too fucking old and they need to get out of the main event scene so new stars can be born.
God damn it, Russo. I hate when you're right about shit. Fuck.
It was. So all the mid-carders fucking loved working with Vince Russo. And they thought Kevin Sullivan was too much of a Hogan ball licker, and they didn't trust him. And
is Kevin Sullivan in the ball liquor crew?
I mean, he's not Brian Knobbs and Jimmy Hart, but he's
to be fair, who is?
He is a bit of a Hogan bro, you know. he's the kind of guy who books a little more old school wrestling and is gonna favor the old school guys.
Of course.
Which is a big reason why Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko all put in their resignation from WCW all at the same time. And they all jumped to WWF.
Fuck. So, wait. Benoit, Malenko, Guerrero, Perry Saturn, and who else?
Yep.
Is that
that's it? That's the Radicals.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I forgot they came into the Fed as a faction.
It was so bad that Kevin Sullivan put the world title on Benoit to try to convince him to stay, and he quit the next day.
Bruh. That's fucking crazy. Did he go? He didn't get away with going to the Fed with the belt, did he?
No, they just stripped it.
Yeah, of course.
But like that was Sullivan's like, no guys, I swear I'll push you better, and they're like, fuck this, I'm leaving. Anyway.
Yeah, they're like, that's gonna be an X to doubt for us, brother.
Yeah. So Sullivan's had the book for the last few months. It has again been fine. Not anything sort of. He's just kind of holding the ship steady, but they're not a big fan. Nobody really likes the state of affairs here. And so Brad Siegel, who at this point is the president of all Turner Media. Okay. He's the president of TNT, TBS, TCM, and oversees WCW from the perspective of a TV show under the Turner umbrella. He's not the day-to-day president. That's still Bill Bush, but he's the Turner guy in charge of making sure WCW is running right.
The oversight man, essentially.
He's the oversight man.
Yeah.
And so he makes arrangements for Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo to come back to work and to work together. Neither man is super excited about this because they have drastically different personalities and booking philosophies, but they're getting paid a shitload of money. And if this works, I mean, they get to be the saviors of WCW again. So they're willing to give it a try.
Okay, saying again implies that
well, Bischoff
at least Russo. Bischoff was Russo. Yeah, half again. One of them again. The other one. Yeah.
But they're willing to give it a go. And so this, the episode we're going to watch tonight is the first result of that.
I love how that's all you like we have all this context and then it's episode tonight. Well, we'll just see what fucking happens.
I mean, that's the case. Like, this is truly the great reset. I mean, no storylines have advanced. Maybe they were setting stuff up that first week after Uncensored, but then once the call came down from on high that in 2 weeks Bischoff and Russo are booking the show, Kevin Sullivan got told, dude, just throw up something. Just get us through this week.
Man, I feel like coming into this and the two of them not having a plan off the bat, like I get it. I get why the circumstances would lead to this. Like, Turner is desperate to get WCW back on track. And so they don't want to commit to the time of Russo and Bischoff, like, getting caught up as to exactly what's going on in WCW and seeing what the fuck they can do with it. There's probably also a bit of a panic move of nothing's working. Just start it all from scratch. Fuck it. And also, like, if Bischoff and Russo are just sitting at home getting paid, no way in hell they're actually keeping up with Nitro or anything. Because they both sound like they're just fucking burnt out. So, like, they're definitely not caught up on anything. So they're here to just scrap together with, like, take a crash course and scrap together what they can and just start at the fire. I get why, but man, coming into this so slapshot was definitely a choice. It was a gamble, and not one with a high likelihood to pay off.
And like again, they still have a fucking pay-per-view on Sunday. And because of how they chose to play this out, there is nothing booked for the $60 pay-per-view in a week.
The $60, but damn, even in 2000, the pay-per-view was running $60. That's insane.
Well, maybe it was like 50 or something. But my point is it's full priced, you know?
Yes. There is no discount applied.
Show. Yeah. They're running a full price show that they have nothing booked for yet. And they are hinging everybody on this one episode of Nitro.
Yeah, sounds about right. Holy God.
So I will quickly kind of go through, and if for nothing else, to let you know who the big players in WCW are right now, because, I mean, you know, that's still going to be true. You know, that's still going to be the same kind of guys, even if, again, there's not really any storyline you need to know because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
anything that was happening, it is not happening anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first match on Uncensored 2000. You know what? You want to start from the top or the bottom?
Of the card?
Yeah. You want to start from the top of the card or the bottom of the card?
I want to start with the bottom. I want to see what we're building up to.
Sure, all right. So, first match of the show was for the Cruiserweight Championship, where the champion was the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea, defeating Psychosis. So Psychosis is still Psychosis. Don't need to add anything there.
Yeah.
The Luchadors getting character development? Fuck you. That's not happening.
Well, unless your name is Rey Mysterio and we just turn you heel because.
Yeah. So the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea was Prince Iakea. I think we may have seen like one match from him in 1996 or something. He's basically just another Islander kind of a gimmick. Okay. But then, if you can't tell, his gimmick now is that he's Prince. Because he's doing the artist formerly known as thing.
I thought that was you riffing. Oh my God.
No, that is his full legal in-ring name. And he is a Prince knockoff. And he has a manager, Paisley, who does all his talking for him. And Paisley is the future Charmel, Booker T's wife.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, we certainly started at a point at the bottom of the card. Holy fuck.
Yeah. Also debuting on the show during this match is Chris Candido. I don't know how much we've even talked about him.
I've heard the name.
He was a decently popular mid-card guy. He was a bit of a journeyman. He had runs in WWF and in ECW. Injuries, serious neck injuries kind of kept him from doing a whole lot more than he did, I think.
Unfortunate.
And then I think he was his girlfriend was Sunny. Was kind of the controversial thing about him. Is he was in a relationship with Sunny, who cheated on him like 30 bazillion times.
Oh dear. I assume not in kayfabe, in shooty shoot real life.
In real life,
dear.
Sunny cheated on him so many times. Anyway, he debuts. He is going to be Hard Knocks, Chris Candido. He's talking about how tough of a life he's had on the streets. He's from the school of Hard Knocks. It's a hard knock life for him.
I feel like I've heard the Hard Knocks thing, but never really had anything to like connect it to. So that's definitely a place to put it.
And he was on commentary being like, I'm gonna bring real wrestling to the cruiserweight division, not like these flippy floppers.
Oh. So a Twitter replier.
Then the next match, I truthfully have no idea. None of these men have been on TV since this happened, so maybe this is nothing. But Norman Smiley and the Demon, as in the Kiss Demon, defeated Lenny Lathe and Rave.
Lenny Lathe, did you say?
Lenny Lane,
Lenny
and
Lane.
Rave.
Oh, hey, Raven's here.
No, not Raven. Rave.
Rave? No
Rave.
N.
Yes, no N. Like the
This
party.
this is not the artist formerly known as Raven.
No, it's completely
Okay, well
different.
that's a relief.
So Lenny Lane and Rave are just scrubs. I don't care.
Yeah.
And
So to be fair, so are Norman Smiley and the Kiss Demon.
now Norman Smiley's about to get super fucking over in the WCW hardcore division, where his thing is, I'm gonna fuck you in the ass. He's doing the big wiggle, and everyone's gonna love it.
Wrestling fans, God bless them. God bless
But
them all.
meanwhile, the Kiss Demon, now just called the Demon, is still here. You would think that after the Kiss thing completely fell apart, that he would have been written off TV forever. Not true. They will keep trying to use him just to fucking do it.
Nah, brother, that's an investment. Fuck, you can't just leave that sitting on the shelf.
Sure. Then you had Bam Bam Bigelow defeating the Wall by disqualification because Bam Bam Bigelow's here, whoop-de-doo, and the Wall is a dude in slacks and a dress shirt with cut off sleeves, and his gimmick is that he puts people in the hospital.
Bigly
Slam.
disappointed that he's not dressed in a cinder block wall print morph suit, you know?
Would be very funny.
That I
But
would prefer that, yes.
His gimmick is that he puts people through tables and he hospitalizes them. He injures them. And that's what he does to Bam Bam in this match. He choke slams Bam Bam through a table. Whoop-de-whoop.
Cool.
He's also been terrorizing David Flair, which is very fun. And I'm on the Wall side for this
one. Noted babyface, the Wall.
Uh-huh. Then in a hardcore gauntlet match for the Hardcore Championship, Brian Knobbs of Nasty Boys fame and Hulk Hogan Ball Liquor Patrol wins the
Fame is
hardcore.
putting it very, very charitably, but go off.
He wins the Hardcore Championship by beating all three of 3 Count at the same time. Now 3 Count is Evan Courageous, Shannon Moore, and Shane Helms. Their gimmick is that they are a boy band because it is the year 2000. So boy bands are hot. Okay. But they also suck because they're heel wrestlers. So they suck at singing and shit. But they have a whole dance routine and a theme.
Jesus, I wonder why WCW wasn't doing well in 2000.
It's hard to tell it's hard to tell giving off these amazing match results, but they were doing
really bad. What is happening?
So fucking Brian Knobbs, one half of the Nasty Boys, is the hardcore champion.
Great. Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
In the only good match on the entire show, we have Billy Kidman and Booker defeating Harlem Heat 2000. What? So the story here is that Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Stevie Ray have broken up. They had a feud. They're still feuding, I guess.
Yeah.
And Stevie Ray lawyered up and gained full rights to the entire Harlem Heat gimmick. This includes the letter T in Booker's name and Booker's pyro and song.
But not Booker's Booker name.
Well, Booker is his real name. So.
Okay, acknowledging the stage names. Always love when that happens. Okay.
And Stevie Ray gave the T to Big T, who is the former Ahmed Johnson.
Who?
From the New Generation fame. Well, I'm sure we'll get there at some point.
Okay.
But now they're Harlem Heat 2000, and so Booker not Booker T. He can't legally call himself that anymore. He's made a friend and new tag partner in Billy Kidman, who is just a dude in the cruiserweight division. I don't have a lot to say about him.
At least he's a talented dude.
He is talented. He's the only character of his that I can remember is when he's with Raven and he's a meth head. He's not doing that anymore, so he's just a guy.
Okay.
I guess he does have. He does. I guess. I think this is around the time he has a secret camera, like a covert camera kind of a thing, candid camera. He's got a candid camera gimmick backstage, and they call it the Kid Cam, which
cute.
I'm glad we got Billy Kidman filming women half naked on the Kid Cam. The Kid Cam is filming the women.
Wait, I remember about this. Didn't we have this shit when we did the randomizer WCW 2000 episode? I remember that something like this.
We probably
I remember a fucking creeper cam backstage.
He does have a creeper cam called the Kid Cam.
Oh,
great
God.
name. Glad that's good.
Damn it, I wanted to like something here. Fuck off, Kidman.
Then in a Falls Count Anywhere match, Vampiro defeated Fit Finlay. Finlay is just a job guy now. I don't care. But Vampiro is being positioned as a hot babyface of the future. He's
what future?
Well, that's a good. I mean, he is being positioned. Kevin Sullivan has him ball licking to Hulk Hogan and Sting to show how big of a future star this guy is. He's getting the rub on screen. He's ball licking to Hogan.
What is he doing?
And he's just a guy. He's just kind of creepy. And he wears face paint. He cuts promos that don't fit the vibe.
What does he do to ball lick to Hogan on screen?
He's just on screen bros with Hogan.
Sure, I guess. Fine. It makes sense for Vampiro, honestly. He would.
Mm-hmm. Then for the WCW Tag Team Championships, the Harris brothers, Ron and Don, defeated the Mamalukes, Big Vito and Johnny the Bull. You can guess what the Mamalukes gimmick is.
Big Vito and Johnny
the Bull.
Why the what? Only one question. Why is their tag team not just called Boopity Boppity?
They got to try to even look remotely respectable.
Why? Nothing else in this fucking show is.
And they got Disco Inferno hanging out with them. So even better.
Oh, so much the better. I love boopity boppitying it up with Disco fucking Inferno. Fuck off.
Meanwhile, Ron and Don Harris, the famous twin wrestling tag team that has been so many shitty gimmicks. They were the Bruise Brothers. They were the Blue Twins. They were the Disciples of Apocalypse.
Oh, fuck. I remembered, like, Nazi skinhead vibes from them. Yay!
They got in trouble for appearing on a TNA pay-per-view with the Nazi symbol t-shirts with the SS, and they got tats. They got SS tats. And they tried to be like, nah, bro, we're just in gimmick as biker dudes. We're not Nazis.
There comes a point where you commit to the bit so hard, one has to wonder, was it ever a bit?
So what are they doing right now? They are part of the NWO 2000, baby.
Oh my God, why?
They had finally killed it, and then Vince Russo brought it back.
Wait, NWO ever died?
For a very, very brief time, there was no NWO.
I would love to see that, just because I would love to see, like, the catharsis that comes with it is, thank God, fucking over.
But the NWO 2000 are here. It was spearheaded by Bret Hart, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall, and none of them are here anymore.
Great.
Instead, the NWO is now Jeff Jarrett as the leader, Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, all of Big Papa Pump's freaks. They have like 4 female valets who are explicitly Big Papa Pump's freaks.
Okay.
Who he fucks all the time.
Well, of course.
And of course, the Harris brothers. That's it. That's the whole group.
What? Look, I know by the time of its first death, the NWO was just butchered beyond comparison when it came to membership, beyond recognition. But holy shit, you tried to resurrect it, and when you lost the 3 big guys who could have any claim to like working with a group like that, instead of killing it again, you're like, all right, Jeff Jarrett, you are now the leader of the NW fucking O, and you're followed around by Big Papa Pump, 4 prostitutes, and 2 Nazis, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Correct.
Brilliant. No, this is great.
But the Harris brothers won the tag titles. Woohoo.
Great.
And then in a bull rope match, Dustin Rhodes defeated Terry Funk. And basically, like, the Terry Funk was basically like, I hate the Rhodes, and I'm going to put you out of the wrestling business.
And that wasn't the good match of the episode, of the pay-per-view?
No, it wasn't.
No, how? What?
Terry Funk's a little too old, and Dustin Rhodes is not that great at this point.
Oh, he is in his struggle era. That's fair.
But I don't think either guy has really done anything on TV since. So,
unfortunate, but also maybe for the best.
Then in a lumberjack match, Sting defeated the Total Package. Now that is Lex Luger.
Yup.
Except he has now changed his name to be the Total Package. His gimmick is still the same. I have a big muscle boy. Check out my muscles. But now he is the Total Package, and everybody calls him this. The only person in the entire company that still calls him Lex is Sting. Everybody else calls him only the Total Package or just Package.
Yeah, hey, Package. What a phenomenal gimmick change. I do appreciate this the stroke of writing that Sting is just done with Luger's shit by this point. Do you mean to tell me that after everything they went through to try to fell the NWO, Luger turned on Sting again? No way. That's great. But yeah, and Sting just refuses to acknowledge it. He's like, bruh, why? This is cringe. Stop it. Stop. I'm looking out for you here. Like, fuck you, but come on, man.
Yeah, and the Package is in a tag team with Ric Flair, where they are Team Package. That was the best Kevin Sullivan could come up with, I guess.
Nope. No. No jokes to be made here about Ric Flair's personal life. No.
Mr. Package also has Miss Elizabeth as his valet.
Mr. Package was my father.
Yeah. So Luger has Miss Elizabeth as his manager at this point.
This is when they were like dating IRL.
Yeah, which feels weird. It's not totally fair, but it feels weird knowing that like their relationship was them both fueling each other's drug habits until it ended with Miss Elizabeth overdosing.
Yup.
So it just feels awkward to be watching
Icky.
this on-screen pairing, knowing how this ends.
Icky. Yeah, not a great feel. Not a great vibe. Don't love it.
But woohoo! Sting wins the match here, and then on the Spring Break Nitro, there's a match where Sting and Vampiro defeat Flair and Mr. and TP total package. So that kind of
I
settles
guess.
that feud.
Yeah, they're trying to get Vampiro over again. Yeah.
And then in the main event, the semi-main event, Sid Vicious successfully defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Jeff Jarrett.
Sid Vicious is not a name that it's not a name I know terribly well, but even like from the little I've heard, not a name I would associate with the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
I mean, yeah, he gets pushed a decent amount here in these late stage WCW. He's
Was
a
he the
big.
when we watched for the randomizer? Was that
I
him?
don't. I think he left by then.
Oh, who was it? Do you recall or no?
I mean, mathematically, it was probably Booker, Steiner, or Jarrett.
Oh fuck!
Um,
It might have been Booker.
those three kind of traded the belt back and forth the last like 6 to 9 months of
Yeah,
WCW's
valid,
existence. So,
valid.
you know. It probably was Steiner. I don't remember the
Oh,
exact
okay.
date that we had, but it was probably Steiner.
No, fair enough. Damn, I don't remember. We saw him on that episode. Okay, whatever. Fuck.
So this match was a big old clusterfuck, and a reminder that Sid Vicious is like just a big, yelly, screamy babyface right at this point.
Hmm.
Where Jeff Jarrett hit Sid with the guitar, as he does.
As one does.
And Hulk Hogan came and interfered to stop Jarrett from winning by cheating. And then Scott Steiner showed up and attacked Hogan. And in the end, Vicious ended up winning the match anyway.
Is
Through all
Hogan
the
a face
shenanigans.
again?
Oh, yeah, this is definitely red and yellow Hogan's face, brother.
I didn't know he ever went back to red and yellow in WCW.
Oh, yes, he did. Oh,
Oh,
yes, he did.
okay. That's
And he
fine.
is somehow even worse than he used to be. Because
Yeah, really.
it feels like he took the worst of his NWO time and put it in his fucking Hogan isms. Like, it's Spring Break Nitro, he gets a fucking promo where he's talking about, you know something, dude, Jimmy Hardy's back at the hotel, brother. He's getting rubbed down by the ladies in the itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikinis, dude.
What?
Which is,
Okay,
again,
no,
the worst combination. This is the worst of both worlds with Hulk Hogan.
The crassness of NWO Hogan plus the mind melting bullshit of flanderized red and yellow Hogan.
It is,
No.
yeah.
Please, Lord, if anything, spare us from Hogan on this episode that we watched, please. Please. Please.
I doubt it, but we
Yeah.
can hope.
Yeah.
The funny thing, I guess, is basically of the episode after Uncensored, there was a tag match, Vicious and Hogan versus Steiner and Jarrett, wherein Sid Vicious turned heel on Hogan, and he choke slams Hogan, and then he pins Hogan, and the ref counts it. Vicious and Hogan were tag partners in this match, and yet,
Oh, fuck.
that counted. Okay.
WCW has rules for their matches. They definitely do.
And then in Spring Break, they tell the story that Sid Vicious has put out a $500,000 bounty on Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan, because he's a fucking moron, doesn't understand what a bounty is, because then he is like, I'm putting up 500,000 of my own dollars, brother.
What?
he thinks this is a wager now, and he can if he stands tall at the end of the night, he can collect Sid's money.
What the fuck?
But he's upping his own bounty on himself.
What? He couldn't. What? He couldn't put out a bounty on Sid Vicious?
No, he had to up
On
the
Sid
stakes.
Vicious?
He had to up the stakes. It's now for $1
You could
million.
have upped the stakes by putting out a bounty. Okay, whatever.
Well, Hogan is
Oh my God.
fucking dumb. So
Yeah.
that is
And
what do you want me to say?
WCW 2000 is fucking dumb. You know, I had a thought. They never would have done this, but this whole like bringing Russo back, and if we insist on NWO still being a thing, and now with the serendipity of bringing Bischoff back too, you know what would have been interesting is if instead of this whole "I am the savior of WCW," everything is now a shooty shoot fourth wall break bullshit angle with Vince Russo. It would be really interesting if they brought in Vince Russo as the anti-Eric Bischoff. He is WCW for life, and he's here to make it wrestling the wrestling show as the people love in the 90s, and there can be a power dynamic with the sad remnants of the NWO, and there can be a fun shift in the power balance to contrast with all the bullshit that heel Bischoff was always up to constantly from all accounts. And then Bischoff comes back, and then they can have their own little fucking faction war power struggle. And yeah, it would be like annoying rehashing WCW versus NWO, but like, man, at least you could do something with that. Something that has more to it than just we're doing work shoots now. Fuck you.
Yeah. All right. Last match to cover.
Wait, the Sid Vicious wasn't the main event?
Of course it wasn't, because Hulk Hogan has a match.
God fucking.
Hulk Hogan defeated Ric Flair in a Indian strap match.
What is with all the fucking stips on this card? Holy shit.
It's uncensored. It's like Extreme Rules, but dumber.
Oh, yeah, and by Extreme Rules, we just mean whatever rule set you want. Have fun, kiddos.
So it is the Yapapai Indian strap match. Infamous for Hogan's one promo trying to describe what the fuck is a Yapapai Indian strap match.
I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. I already understand by the simple one sentence description that it was as cringe as it was racist, and as racist as it was utterly fucking IQ destroying. And that's it. That's all I need to know. I need no specifics past that. Godspeed, Hulkster. Have fun.
Anyway, after Hulk Hogan was attacked by Scott Steiner in the previous match and interference from the total package, Hogan still defeats Ric Flair.
Yeah, of course he did.
And wins the match.
Of course he did. Kevin
He's
Sullivan
American made.
Oh yeah, he can't do whatever the fuck his normal theme song is, so he has to do Jimmy Hart's new version of it.
The version that was released commercially on his album.
Oh, wait, on Hulk Rules? Did we listen to that? Okay. I remember that now. Yup, okay.
So that took longer than I thought it would, considering, again, nothing's really been going on in WCW land.
Holy fucking Jesus. Pain. I am in pain right now.
If you want to watch along with us, you can do so at Peacock.
That's a choice you can make.
They got all WCW Nitro on there. When we come back, we'll be watching The Great Reset, April 10th, 2000, WCW Nitro.
Pray for our soul.
And we are back. We have finished the April 10th, 2000 episode of WCW Nitro. A new era is upon us in WCW.
This episode. This fucking episode could not have come at a worse time. I was texting you while I was watching it. You knew I was having a bad time. I was exhausted. I had just spent all day at work. I'm a preschool teacher by day, and I just spent all day at work teaching the preschool class all by myself all day for the first time. I was already exhausted, and I came home like I need alcohol. I just need alcohol. So I was exhausted. I was drunk. I was so confused. And in the fucking background, Robbie, Bianchi, and Kyle were over building a laptop for Robbie while I was watching this shit. So I was just on all fronts. Everything was just weird, and this episode broke me a little bit. I was trying to present chill Vacation David in the front half. I couldn't do it. It was so bad. I fucking tore my hair out watching this. I don't have hair anymore. Or I barely do because of this fucking episode. And that's the only explanation for why my hair's a lot shorter in the back half. It's the only explanation. Yeah. Jesus. Goddamn fucking Christ.
Yeah, I watched this episode and was like, could they take another 2 weeks off and try again? Because
maybe they just shouldn't have come back. Maybe Nitro should have just died a year early. That's my idea, actually.
That maybe it should have.
Yeah.
So we start this show off with 95% of the roster in the ring.
Well,
because we're having a town hall.
I guess. Although,
this is a public staff meeting.
Was this
happening?
Was this only the heels that were in the
Well, everyone in the ring is the new blood.
Okay.
Remember that phrase.
Forever. Yeah, I noticed that phrase being used on later episode descriptions.
Well, it's because Russo and Bischoff are building around the storylines around faction warfare, the new blood,
oh my god,
the Millionaires Club, which they name dropped the Millionaires Club at the end of the episode, and I completely missed when they first said that was their name, which surely they did. Surely they didn't forget to name the Millionaires Club until casually referencing it at the end as if everybody knows what that is.
Yeah, I just assumed that was a pre-established...
No!
Oh, good.
They just said all the heels and all the baby faces, fuck what you were doing before. We're just throwing you all in Group A or Group B.
So, Millionaires Club and New Blood are not a clean face heel divide?
They are, but it took me until later research to even figure out which one it's supposed to be. Because I will, let's get through this promo and I will talk more about my problems with the New Blood and Millionaires Club thing immediately.
I do want to point out before we even start the actual content of the episode, we're already in dire straits. The fucking WCW 2000 era logo sucks fucking ass. What is that shit
logo?
The bird shit. Yeah, it does look like a splatter of bird shit. Why are the letters like that? Why do you have the two W's being so long and the C being so tall?
I don't know.
But and like even the fucking the goddamn opener feels like a Flanderization at this point. We got the Nitro girls.
It's just the Nitro girls dancing with CGI explosives happening in the background.
Yeah. Tony Schiavone calls this the landmark event in sports, X. They're in
The night
Denver.
the world will change.
Yeah, they're in Denver. Probably best to debut this dog shit where everyone is fucking baked anyway.
Yeah, so most of the WCW talent is already in the ring. And then they
And like
have a few
they all have
guys.
a fucking like 1,000-yard stare, bro. Like everyone looks so goddamn out of it here.
Yeah, they
Nobody
don't.
wants
The
to be
wrestlers
here.
do not know what they're supposed to do, and they don't want to be here.
They were not given
And
direction in the slightest.
yeah, then a few guys like Scott Steiner, The Wall, Booker T, Jeff Jarrett, they come out
Double
later. They
J,
come
the
out
US
down the ramp
champion, baby.
for now
For no,
as he
yeah,
comes
well,
down to the ring. So they all come down to the ring. Jeff Jarrett gets the microphone. And he's like, I want to remind everybody that I am the chosen one and that I was handpicked to be the WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
thank you,
And
Jeff.
he says that, I want to introduce to you the guy who turned the WWF around. And it is Vince Russo. And he
Yeah.
comes out to
Except
no
except
pop.
except fucking yeah, first of all, Russo comes out with no pop. But also when Jeff Jarrett says the man that turned the WWF around, the subtitles, I had the subtitles on, the subtitles corrected WWF to WCW.
Yeah, man, you can't say that. WWF is World Wildlife Fund.
But you say WWE. Why did it change it to WCW? This is not
Well, they
the first
goofed it.
time this is not the only time the subtitles do this on this fucking episode.
Well, they just goofed it, but we can't. The subtitles
They
can't
goofed
say
it
WWF.
multiple times. How hard did they phone these fucking subtitles in? Holy
A
Jesus.
lot. They phoned
Fair
in
enough.
a lot. So Vince Russo comes out. This is, by the way, the first time he has ever appeared on screen.
Ever?
If you were,
I swear to
yeah,
God, he was on. I thought he was on TV in WWF at some point.
no, he was
Oh.
not. If you
What?
were deep into the WWF to the point that you were watching like WWF magazine adverts, you probably saw him as Vic Venom, the WWF magazine editor.
That's what I was thinking of. We've seen Vic Venom ads on
okay.
WWF episodes before. That's what that was. Okay.
But this is the first time that they're like, this is Vince Russo. He is here, right in person.
Yeah, and everyone's like, who?
Who the fuck is this guy?
Yup.
And then Vince
Great.
Russo says, I came to WCW with one thing on my mind, bro. And that was to beat Vince McMahon at his own game. And Vince says, within a matter of weeks, the new blood was not only getting in the game, they were changing the game. Not true.
Yeah,
That's a lie.
The only change in the game was that WCW's ratings kept getting worse. I feel like that is not a good change in the game, Vincent.
But you see, David, the good old boys interfered.
Oh my Jesus.
So this promo is filled with references to, let's say, Turner management and older traditionalists within WCW structure, and it is referred to as the Good Old Boy Network.
The Good Old Boys. Which is very funny coming from a man who up until recently was a Vince McMahon ball licker, but okay.
This is so stupid and nobody fucking cares because most of these audience barely has any idea what he's talking about.
I know.
But he basically blames everything that went wrong in his original tenure on the Good Old Boys interfering with him and making this a shitty place to work. And Benoit knew it, Guerrero knew it, Malenko knew it, Saturn knew it, Douglas knew it. I can't wait to explain that later. And that's why they left. So he name drops the Radicals.
Bro, yeah, fucking lampshading the ship jumpers. The fucking also there's a sign I noticed pretty early on in this promo that says Bischoff plus Russo equals ratings. Brother, check your fucking
That was
math.
not true. That did not happen.
It's like the myth that like Punk plus the Elite would have equaled all the ratings. Like how? Like what?
I mean, I'll give them credit. They got higher ratings on this episode because last week was a fucking clip show.
Yeah. Do we think there might be any confounding variables here? You know, just a thought. I also have a note here. Maybe I drunkenly typed this wrong because I don't remember what this is referring to. So maybe either you help me here or you're like, David, what the shit are you talking about? I have a note. Why the shit are they cutting a promo insulting their promos? Did he say something about like them like this? The shit they say is like boring or whatever, or did I mean something else?
Maybe later they do.
Oh. Well, it was before he lampshaded the ship jumpers, so I don't know.
Maybe I was like yawn.
Yeah, me too.
So, and Russo tells everyone in the ring that it is over. The politics are over, and this is their chance to seize an opportunity. And then you overhear Eric Bischoff going, "Are you done yet?"
Well, also Vince Russo also insults the inflated egos in the back. Fuck off, actually. But yes, is the "Are you done yet"? Is that a stinger to his music, or was that just him?
That was just him saying things.
Oh, great.
Cutting in. So then Eric Bischoff comes out.
Bro, I didn't know Bischoff had already gone fucking Silver Fox in the year 2000.
Yeah, yep. He's entered his Silver Fox era.
Yeah. So he comes out and
nobody really reacts. I mean, they react more than Russo.
Are like, yeah, I guess. And then
no one's that excited.
He and Russo
they play up this idea
down.
Of like, Russo and Bischoff are they gonna get along? And then Swerve, bro, they hug. All right, great.
I thought, hey, Russo, I thought hugging was gay, bro. Why are you hugging Eric Bischoff on live TV, bro? I wonder how much psychic damage that caused both of them to do.
So Bischoff says that he and Russo have a lot of common, and they were both screwed by the Good Old Boy Network.
Jesus fucking Christ! Yeah. Tell me one question. How?
I want to remind you that Eric Bischoff got this job back from Brad Siegel, the president of Turner Media, was who brought him back specifically.
But what the shit did Turner ever do to either of them? Like, I know this is partially kayfabe, but also it's not because these boys are fucking work shooting all over the place. But what the shit is their explanation even for how the good old boys screwed them? Because I don't think they elaborated.
No, they don't. It's just they're just being like, remember when WCW was bad? Well, it wasn't our fault. It was because of the good old boys.
It was because of Ted Turner, who gave us his unlimited money and his blessing to do this. Yeah, fuck that guy.
And so then Eric Bischoff says he's made a lot of mistakes, like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Sting, DDP, Sid, wish he was vicious. I don't know why he decided for this one wrestler he was going to try to do a quip. And of course, his biggest mistake, Hulk Hogan.
Bro, okay. So it's very funny that Bischoff decides that all of his biggest mistakes are all of his top stars. And
all of his big draws are the mistakes, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but also the crowd cheers for this? What is happening?
Yeah, because these are all the wrestlers the crowd likes. So
I thought they were cheering because they agreed that they were a mistake.
No, they heard a name they like and went woo.
You know, I try not to be too mean to the wrestling fandom on a whole, but holy Jesus, I think these guys who were still ball licking for WCW 2000 might have been part of the problem. I think ever so slightly.
And so Bischoff apologizes to everyone. He said,
also,
wait,
sorry. One more thing I need to say is him calling Hulk Hogan a mistake is very funny after directly after doing the episode from 1996 where he says on commentary in disguise as I'm totally not an NWO sleeper agent, that hiring Hulk Hogan was a mistake. Very funny to get that line twice in a row under very
Yeah.
different like contexts, but both times
Yeah.
just wrong work, but like correct answer both times.
So Bischoff is like, he apologizes to everyone in the ring because everyone said that Hulk Hogan would manipulate him, Hulk Hogan would take advantage of him, and he didn't listen. And they cut briefly to a shot of Lex Luger, Sid, Paige, and Sting watching backstage on a CRTV. And Bischoff is like, this is a whole new WCW, an even playing field. And so he asks, where are all those guys he just name dropped? And out come DDP, Sting, Lex Luger, and Sid Vicious, who is again the world champion right now. And Bischoff decides to be like, wow, look who finally decided to show up to work. And he tries to take digs at all of them, but he also makes them sound cool for what they're skipping out on. Because he's like, what's the matter, Sid? No softball game? What's the matter, Luger? No golf game? No lunch with Michael Jordan?
Yeah, how dare you have a life outside of this company, you fuck asses?
For DDP, he tries to be like, I guess those 7 fans at the trailer park who want your autograph on your new book, I guess you could leave them. And he's like, Sting, what? No big Hollywood premieres to go to? Glad you finally showed up to work.
What Hollywood premiere even would that be? Fucking Ready to Rumble,
don't know.
which we get the ad for later that all of them were there for. Uh-oh. I think Austin has some feelings about Ready to Rumble.
I do, but okay.
One other thing he says, he starts going off, he starts roasting him. He's like, Sting, who's the guy who's responsible for all this success of yours? Who's the guy that rebuilt your career, Scott Hall? Who's the guy that got you to this point, Scott Hall?
He's like, Lex, who's the guy who made you a multi-millionaire when the World Wrestling Federation didn't want you? And so then, Bischoff's like, if I can build you, I can break you. And he said it's going to be a level playing field. And Russo jumps in and is like, hey, I know he is hiding out in the back. Fun fact, he was not. We'll get to that. And he calls out the biggest asshole of them all, Ric Flair, you are a piece of shit on the bottom of my shoe. Everyone pops.
I wish both of these men please. I wish both of these men would please cease existing.
Yeah, and then he's like, I will flush that shit personally. And then Russo turns to Jeff Jarrett, and he's like, but Jeff, I need you to trust me on this. And I need you to relinquish the United States Championship. Because tonight, all titles are being stripped. And okay, I want to chime in here. The Millionaires Club has one title. They have the world title. Yeah. The other belts, Jeff Jarrett's U.S. title, the Harris Brothers tag title, and Ball Liquor Supreme Brian Knobbs with the hardcore title are all new blood.
But we had to get revenge on Sid Vicious and make it look non-biased for some reason. You could have just stripped Sid of his title, guys.
Oh, I can't wait to also talk about how they resolve this. So all the new blood people give up the belts pretty easily. They also stripped Prince Iaukea of the Cruiserweight title. Not that we see that on screen. I don't know why he wasn't here. For this,
he shows up later, right?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. Or maybe he does, but I don't.
I have a note about him, so they at least talk about him later.
Yeah, but he doesn't. The Cruiserweights don't do anything on this episode, except for one. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
But the New Blood all give up the titles pretty easily, and then Bischoff is like, give me the belt, Sid. And Sid goes like, Eric Bischoff, if you want this title, you can come and take it. And everyone pops real hard for this. And then Bischoff just leaves the ring and goes and gets the belt.
He's like, all right, Bischoff's basically like, bet, I'll fucking fire you. And Sid just backs off. That's a great look.
So he walks up to Eric Good walks up to Sid. And Sid, oh, I forgot, by the way. This is important to mention. When we talk about how the New Blood Millionaires Club feud is supposed to work, that when Bischoff was talking about how he built the careers of all the Millionaires Club, commentary was piping in. Specifically, I think Mark Madden was piping in to be like, this is all 100% factual. This is true.
Yeah, I gathered over the course of the evening that Mark Madden is our designated heel commentator. Which
Scott Hudson's also a pretty big ball licker, to be honest.
Poor Tony Schiavone's just out there fighting for his fucking life.
Yeah, he is. So, but Bischoff goes over there and he threatens that he's like, come on, Sid, I bet you want to hit me, but if you do, you'll knock me out, but then you'll be unemployed forever. And he's like, come on, Sid, press your button, Sid. Hey, what's the matter, Sid? Can't find your scissors? And the crowd doesn't react, and Mark Madden goes, wow!
Yeah,
and
what the shit was that?
I'll explain it, but we have to get to the funniest part. So Bischoff throws his line in, and Bischoff hears that nobody reacted. And his mind is like, oh, I guess they didn't hear me. And then he goes, I said, what's the matter, Sid? Can't find your scissors?
Great.
And so,
thank you.
Okay, here is what this is from. In 1994, want you to emphasize how long ago that was.
6 years.
1994.
6 full years.
In a pre like internet, in a early days internet time, that's forever ago. And it wasn't that big a story in the dirt sheets at the time. So, like, it wasn't like one of those things that all the internet smarks talked about all the time about Sid. But basically, to sum it up quickly, in 1994, Sid Vicious was in WCW, and he got in a hotel fight with Arn Anderson. And over the course of the fight, he stabbed Arn Anderson with a pair of scissors. And this led to him getting fired and going back to the WWE.
And that's the thing that Bischoff decided to pull out here. Are you shitting me?
Yeah, Mark Madden was the only person in the arena who got the reference. And so it is just the stupidest meme of all time, really. More people know about the Sid Vicious stabbing someone with scissors story because Bischoff decided to try to throw in a shooty fourth wall comment about a backstage fight that happened 6 years ago to an audience that had no fucking idea what he's talking about.
What a fucking pathetic weirdo, though, that Mark Madden genuinely reacts wow to this comment. That he knows this story well enough that 6 years later
he's ball licking on this.
He pops for it. What? Oh my Jesus. Okay. We're already off to such a great start. The tone has been set just perfectly.
Sid eventually gives up the belt, and Eric Bischoff goes back in the ring, and everyone's high-palling about the New Blood. I want to emphasize this, Matt. This whole segment took 20 minutes, and I want to right now apologize to Triple H because I didn't realize that you could actually make 20-minute opening promos more boring and stupid than Triple H does.
Yeah, at least Triple H is able to. At least Triple H isn't thinking that he's the smartest geniusest in the world for doing fourth wall breaks, and like he can keep the plot a little bit. Like from Bischoff and Russo, this is just simultaneously so insane and so boring because they like are so far up their own fucking asses. And like Triple H doesn't need to have 20-minute long promos, but like they seem so like grounded and well constructed compared to this horse shit.
Yeah, so all the belts have now been stripped, and we go to commercials. And when we come back after the announcers recap what fucking happened, backstage we see Hulk Hogan arriving to the arena. Call time, motherfucker. What is that?
I was about to say, fucking Hogan. Yeah, Hogan and Flair having. Oh shit! Sorry, I have a bunch of like extra shit from before we went to commercial. So real quick, I have to shout out. I have to like shout out to like the WCW faithful for having like weirdly artistically legitimate signs. Like I saw some like well constructed, well drawn signs amongst the WC Dub fans this evening. Like there was one that said like "I'm your daddy," which was fucking weird, but also
Okay.
like but like it was like it was over. The letters were like over an embossed like black Superman logo, and I don't know why.
Oh, that's Steiner. That's
Oh, that's
Steiner's.
Steiner. Okay,
Yeah,
but like it
Steiner
looked
does.
good. Like
Steiner
it
has a
looked well
knockoff
made.
Superman.
Like this person got a fucking Superman logo embossed onto his sign and then like drew good letters over it. There's also someone that had a sign that just said Vampiro, but it was in like a nice, like kind of like creepy calligraphy font and like hand drawn. I was like,
Mhm.
that's pretty neat. So like these people may be fucking idiots that'll pop for anything, but like weird level of visual art skills on display. Also, people were chanting for Goldberg for some reason. I'm sure
Yeah,
that'll really add to the proceedings.
yeah, because like Goldberg is still the biggest star in WCW, but also he is injured right now because
Oh,
when he was feuding in January, he was feuding with the NWO 2000 back when
mm,
it was still Bret Hart, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall.
mm.
They did a segment where Bill Goldberg was supposed to smash the limousine window of the NWO, except he couldn't find or lost, I don't remember the story on this, the lead pipe he was supposed to use to break the window. So instead, Goldberg decides to break through the window with his bare hand, causing extremely deep lacerations and nerve damage to his hand
Bill,
because his idiot ass punched through a limousine glass window with his fists.
Bill, fuck me.
So, like,
Okay, so
the fans
the
don't
audience
fully
are like,
know all of that. So the audience are just like, we want Bill. And WCW is kind of just stuck of like, we can't give you that.
we can't give him to. Jesus Christ, just pain for everyone involved. Tony Schiavone comments on this whole situation by noting that confusion reigns everywhere. Ah, yes, Roman's cousin, confusion reigns, my favorite
God damn
phrase.
it.
Yeah, but
Not
yes,
another one.
yeah, right. Well, this one, if you're named Confusion Reigns, you know, like that sounds like a goofy little guy to me. So he sounds right up my alley. I think he's probably like the exact opposite. Like we're thinking of like a Goofus and Gallant sort of situation where like Confusion Reigns never gets any titles and like he's stuck jobbing in the mid card, but like
The
he's just a funny little guy. And then there's Roman shows up and he's just like, hmm. And maybe Confusion Reigns is the one that said suffer and succotash. Maybe like we have like an
Confusion
evil twin
Reigns.
situation going on here.
Confusion Reigns is the counter to Tonga Loa.
Oh shit. Oh fuck, brother. We've cracked the code. But yeah, apparently neither Hogan nor Flair have shown up yet, which yeah, on brand, but also call times, you bitches.
So okay, so Hogan is backstage, is walking backstage, and we cut again they go to another break, and then we cut back from footage we already saw again. And then they have, I want to point out, this episode was given an extra 30 minutes on TNT. So it's 2.5 hours.
It still ran like an hour 48 on fucking
yeah, without commercials. Yeah, it's an hour 40. But it was 2.5 hours on broadcast.
Great.
They made such good use of that time.
Oh, they made such great use of that time.
Yeah, so Hogan is backstage taping up his wrists or whatever. He clearly does not know anything about what's happened in the first half hour of the show. And Sting comes in and he gives him the scoop that like Bischoff is like talking shit about us. And you need to go talk to him. And Hogan he's leaving. He's like, all right, I'm on it, brother. And Sting is like, hey man, I'm telling you, I'm not ribbing you. And Hogan says, I'm not ribbing you either. Okay.
Brother,
what does that even fucking mean?
What? Yeah, I know. And he said it with such like gravity too. Like he thought he was cooking there. He's like, I'm not ribbing you either. Like, but also like, bro, why the fuck is Hulk Hogan so goddamn boring when he's acting normal? Like, it feels like he's trying to be boring. Like, it feels like he's putting on the affect of someone talking normally, like what he thinks that looks like. And it's just so boring. Like, Sting comes up to him and he's like, hey, man, we got all this shit going on. Hogan's like, oh, I mean, I guess I can go talk to, like, Eric, you know, whatever. And he's like, dude, I don't fucking know. Eric's like, no, dude, it's all chill with me and Eric. Like, you know, whatever. And, like, why is he boring? Why is it like SpongeBob being normal? Like, why is it hi, how are you? But for Terry Bollea, like, what? Why does he do this? I don't get it.
So we cut to the first match of the show, and the in-ring matches on this show are dominated by the World Title Tournament. So they're going to have a bunch of tournaments and one-off matches at Spring Stampede to determine all the championships. Most of the matches of Spring Stampede are the U.S. title match tournament. They'll have a match to crown a cruiserweight champion and a hardcore champion and a tag champion tournament as well. Yeah. But the world title tournament, they have that mostly tonight, and the finals are just what's at Spring Stampede. So I want to remind you that in the opening promo, they hyped up how this is an even playing field, and now the new blood is going to get their opportunity the good old boys, the egomaniacs in the back didn't let them have.
Despite the fucking new blood to Billionaire Club title ratio was fucking 4-1.
Here are the competitors in the world title tournament. See if you notice a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond Dallas Page, Lex Luger, Sting, Sid Vicious. Where's the fucking new blood?
Yeah. I'm so glad you pointed this out because I didn't even I was too far gone to realize this, but like, what the fuck? Why?
Now, to be fair, this is all to earn a shot at Jeff Jarrett is getting, because he's the chosen one, is getting bumped to the front of the line. He already has the title match for Spring. He's going to be in the title match of Spring Stampede. It's a winner faces Jeff Jarrett situation.
Mm-hmm.
So there is one member of the New Blood, the most successful member of the New Blood, the guy who is already a quasi-main eventer under Vince Russo, Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, of course. But all the rest, we'll just do Millionaire Club again, all facing each other. Why?
Like,
fuck you.
Fucking hell. Okay.
Yeah, bro.
So I want to.
Bro.
I'll save my analysis of the Millionaires Club New Blood for after this first match.
But like, man, they had 2 weeks. They had 2 whole weeks to book this shit. And like, I know they probably weren't paying attention to what WCW was doing while they were sitting at home on their asses. But like,
they were not.
They had 2 weeks to, like, follow their own fucking logic. They had, if you're assuming, like, a proper, like, 40-hour, like, work week, they had 80 goddamn hours to, like
why
figure out
would you
something that
not
would
have?
make...
Why would you not have the more popular members of the New Blood be in this tournament? Why would you not
I can
have
already
Booker
think
T?
of better
Why
ways
would
of
you
doing
not have
this.
Booker T and Vampiro? Why are they not in this tournament?
I can already think of better ways of doing this. Why the shit don't you do scramble matches where New Blood outnumbers the fucking members of the Billionaires Club like 10-1? Like, have it like put them in there, but like stack the odds so hard against them as like a way of like fucking embarrassing them. Don't say we're here to give all the boys, all the New Blood boys, a fucking leg up, and then only have it be Millionaires Club aside from Jeff Jarrett. They're, like, in 2 seconds, I thought of a much better way of telling that story. How did they not? Ha!
Yeah,
Oh my god.
So the gimmick on their entrances is they come out, they have their music long enough to get a pop for it, but then they cut the music off. There's no pyro. Lex Luger isn't allowed to do his flexi poses.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking with the Millionaires Club. And I'll be honest, I got no match notes, and I don't want any. All of the matches on this episode are terrible. They are all sub 5 minutes except for one, and they are all bad.
But, bro, a running theme very quickly started to emerge with my notes, where I was like half zoned out for the matches, but I was like, yeah, this is a few minutes in. I'm like, they're having a solid match, and then as I like note that, like, someone fucking comes out to fuck with the match.
Yeah, so Luger's hitting some backbreakers or some shit. And then out comes Buff Bagwell, who gets his full music and he gets all his pyro mid-match. And whoopity-doo. And then he comes out and Buff Bagwell tries to force himself onto Elizabeth, who is Luger's manager.
Great.
And this distracts Lex Luger. So then he gets hit with the Diamond Cutter, and DDP wins. So
yeah, DDP, like, effectively a squash match with like how easily DDP gets the dispatch of Luger at the end after the fucking slight Buff Bagwell distraction. It's great thing to do to like this is an embarrassment to to Luger, but like not in a way that like it's not good. Like, they don't lampshade it. It's just like he got distracted because Elizabeth got fucked with, and then DDP wins because how dare we have actual wrestling on this wrestling show? Fuck off.
Well, so okay, I will admit, in my head, I assumed that the New Blood were baby faces, because if you put the story out on paper for me, that seems like that would make more sense. Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo are coming into the company with a high amount of fanfare and are being treated as the saviors of the company. Commentary throughout the night is supportive of Russo and Bischoff. The commentators aren't really pro the Millionaires Club at any point. And again, on paper, why would, if we're treating the story as that you have a few select elite wrestlers who are holding down most of the roster from reaching their full potential and getting opportunities for their own egomaniacal gains, why would they be the baby faces? That's obviously a heel position. It's basically the authority. It's basically like an evil authority situation in a similar dynamic. And yet, they don't act like. So I was going to make a whole thing about how the New Blood don't act like baby faces. But then I did some further research into it, and no, the Millionaires Club are the baby faces, which gives me more questions based on all of the things I just said that would be logical reasons why you would think the New Blood would be the baby faces.
Well, what's so fucking wild is that, like, like, what you just said makes perfect sense from a plot standpoint. Because, like, you would think, right, that they want to set this as the narrative. Like, they really, like, Russo and Bischoff are here to save the day, so all of you should come watch because they're going to be doing great shit. But the evil authority wants to hold them down from saving this company. But
The
also,
Millionaires
like,
Club is the personification of the Good Boys Network.
yeah, like, but the problem is, like, as soon as they laid out this distinction, I knew who the heels and faces were because Russo and Bischoff are fucking incapable of having any personality traits on TV that make them likable baby faces. Like, back when Eric Bischoff was a baby face, he was a generic fucking commentator. The minute he got an actual personality, it was being the most punchable bitch in the room. Just straight up. So they're incapable of doing that. And B, like, yeah, what you just said would be a very compelling story, but have you considered, Austin, that Sting gets us ratings and merch sales? So,
Yeah, so they made all the baby faces are all the guys that the fans think are over already.
Yup.
And again, so I will say that from that perspective, the Millionaires Club makes sense. Being the heat faces makes sense from a logistical perspective. You're putting the wrestlers that the fans already like, and you're making them the baby faces, because it's broadly easier to get fans to hate a wrestler than it is to get them to like a wrestler.
Yeah.
So having all of the upstart bad good guy, the upstart new blood beaty bad guys is a bit, it leans into how the audience already feels about the Millionaires Club.
Yep.
So that having been said, when put in this perspective, why would you run this storyline at all? The personnel involved makes more sense for the Millionaires Club to be baby faces, but the storyline on a plot perspective makes more sense that the new blood are the baby faces. Therefore, why? Why would you do this? Why would you build the entire company around this concept?
Because Vince Russo was patient fucking zero for the sickness that now permeates the entire IWC, where they think acknowledging IRL controversy equals immediate, like, millions of viewers. Like, he's patient zero belief that, like, we have to, like, constantly tip a nod to, like, the shit that's going on outside of kayfabe because that's what the fans want, brother. Which is a completely self-perpetuating idea that only losers on the internet give a shit about. Vince Russo was patient fucking zero for that shit.
And another thing, the internet crowd also would probably agree with the New Bloods because they're the kind of people that know that a guy's like a Hulk Hogan are politicking assholes. So they would look at guys like Billy Kidman and Booker T and Vampiro and go, those guys are getting held back by the Hulk Hogans of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. But also we got a book for the normies who think Hulk Hogan is cool. So we're stuck in fucking limbo. And Vince Russo is too goddamn set in his own goddamn ego to think that maybe his initial ideas aren't the bestest, smartest ideas to get all of the ratings, bro.
Like, it's just thinking about how that works makes it not make sense to me. And I think they were just like, what if we just do another NWO but call it the New Blood?
But it's not even fucking NWO. Like, it lacks any of the juice of NWO. Like,
well, yeah, the NWO's lacked juice since January '99, so that's just more of the same in that regard.
But even more, like, somehow there's even less juice involved here because, like, they're presented as just, like, impotent cronies to Bischoff and Russo's machinations. Like, none of these guys are made to look strong here because they're just like constantly getting help to fuck over the Billionaires Club.
Which is like another thing too. Like, how are you gonna get these guys over like this? That's the goal, right? Like, they all look like impotent bitches. The entire show.
The more you think about this, the more infuriating.
Yeah, okay, Buff Bagwell showed up and cost Lex Luger the match, but Diamond Dallas Page still won because it's a match between two Millionaires Club people. What does it matter that Buff Bagwell non-consensually kissed Elizabeth? That doesn't add anything to anything.
Bro, well, they can't fucking figure out like which direction they want. They won't commit. They are sitting all the way on the fence. The fence post is going straight the fuck up their assholes because they're sitting on it so hard. They can't figure out whether they want to like appease the normies by having all the like top baby faces keep on top baby facing prominently.
This wouldn't be a problem if they spent their 2 weeks writing a normal fucking wrestling show. It's creatively lazy to just make the entire company one thing that goes for 2 hours. Which is what they did.
But again, Russo and Bischoff, they have lost their heads completely up their asses. So good luck.
And this problem will persist with every match on the show.
And I assume keep persisting as WCW goes on, stumbles along until it's fucking death.
At least until Russo finally fucking quits.
Again.
Russo and Bischoff both decide to quit, and Kevin Sullivan, I think, just books them to the end. I don't even remember who has the book at the end of WCW.
God. And boring as Kevin Sullivan is still better than these fuckers.
Moving on. We go backstage and Hulk Hogan is looking for Eric Bischoff, but he's being a moron about it, where he's just like knocking on every door in the hallway and being like, hey, Eric, you in here? Like, dude, do they not have a label somewhere of like what office Eric's in? Maybe if you showed up on time, you would know where Eric's office is and you could just go there.
On time? What's that, brother? The only time that works.
He like
Hogan
knocks
time.
and goes into like a copier room and being like, hey, Bischoff, you in here?
And he's like, oh, nope, not there. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
And hey, folks, get used to seeing shots of Hulk Hogan trouncing through the backstage area of WCW this week because it takes up an absolutely insane amount of time, a completely ludicrous amount of time on this fucking episode.
Like the pre-beat story beat and the post-story beat roaming through the hallways.
Bro, yeah, we got 2 acts. This is a tragedy in 2 acts, brother. And you have to sit and watch all of it.
So then after the next commercial break, we go backstage, and Kurt Hennig has also just shown up to work. Mr. Perfect is here. And he's like, hey, Russo, what the fuck? I was also your ball licker. Why didn't I get a shot at the WCW title at Spring Stampede? Why is it just going to Jarrett? And Russo's like, fine. If you can beat Jarrett tonight, you'll get the match. And then backstage, Hulk Hogan is still looking for Eric Bischoff. He is asking people around, being like, hey, you seen Eric? No, okay.
He's just trying to have a reasonable conversation with Eric, brother.
And then we cut back to the ring, finally, but not for a match, as Tank Abbott's music hits.
Yeah, I just immediately went, who the fuck is this man? I have never seen him before in my life.
So Tank Abbott is a old school UFC guy. He was on a lot of the early UFC shows until he just learned that you make more money taking less hits to the face in wrestling. So he went for that. And so he's in here as the ultimate fighter because he competed in the ultimate fighter tournament in UFC, where he came in second place. But that doesn't matter to the gimmick. But the idea is, so he gets on the ring. He comes down to the ring.
Doesn't quite have a ring to it.
Yeah. So he gets in the ring and he's like, I am not a wrestler. I am a shoot fighter. Jesus Christ. And he's like, I don't know the difference between a wristwatch and a wrist lock, but I can kick your ass. And Tank Abbott is just like, he came to WCW for one reason, because of this fake tough guy running around, Bill Goldberg. And
Bruh.
he's like, is it a coincidence that Bill Goldberg left the company the day I came in? No, yes, it is a coincidence. It had nothing to do with you. And so
Bro,
Tank Abbott.
yeah. Also, just like what way to really like help the audience understand that Goldberg is not going to be showing up tonight, no matter how hard they chant. Just invoke him. Just call him out. But no, he's not going to be here. But we're still going to call him out because saying Goldberg equals ratings. Maybe, I don't know.
They gotta tease the idea that Goldberg might show up. Please, fans, do not turn that dial. Do not turn on Raw. Please do not turn on Raw. Bill Goldberg might be here.
Oh my god, he's coming. Maybe he's totally gonna be here. Maybe.
So
So
Tank Abbott.
fucking desperate. This whole episode is just desperate flailing. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you're not wrong. So Tank Abbott is like, okay, so I am just gonna every week beat up innocent people until Goldberg answers my challenge. And so Tank Abbott walks to the ringside and is scouting around, and he decides to attack Mark Madden on commentary. He just picks him up and throws him in the ring, except Mark Madden's not a worker, and you can tell because Tank Abbott does like 3 punches to the gut on Mark Madden, and that's it.
Bro, yeah, and like Mark Madden is like stiff as a fucking board this entire time. This man cannot move along with the work to save his life. Also, it was really funny because like I was so confused because Mark Madden was like into this, I think, until this guy fucking grabbed him and started beating him up, and I thought,
yeah, the commentators were like suggesting ringside people for him to beat the shit out of,
bro.
Until he comes over to the
because I
commentary
fucking thought like because Mark Madden was into this, and Tony Schiavone goes, "Don't encourage that, Mark." But I at first thought like that was "Don't encourage that, Mark," like the term Mark, and I was like, "Are they seriously using the term Mark?" So points to them on that little bit of restraint. At least they didn't actually say the term Mark on this episode. So points for not going whole hog on everything being work shooty, just mostly hog for the dirt sheet losers. Great.
Yeah. So security runs down and stops Tank from continuing to beat out Mark Madden. Then we go backstage.
Yeah, this happened for some reason.
Yeah, so then backstage, Jeff Jarrett is bitching at Vince Russo about having to have a match tonight. And he's like, I'm the chosen one. What the fuck? And Russo's like, hey, bro, don't you trust me? I mean, Jesus, man, I'm not trying to screw you. Like, what am I, J.J. Dillon to you? All right, great.
Help? Like,
Hell,
what
I
is
don't know
J.J.
either,
Dillon?
really.
Okay.
I don't know what J.J. Dillon's history with Jeff Jarrett is.
Like infamous politic,er or is this kayfabe or like?
Who knows? So then we cut backstage to Billy Kidman with his girlfriend Tori Wilson. And
hey,
Tori, yeah, you know her. She's in the WWE 2K games.
Yeah.
So Tori is like, come on, Billy, let's just leave or something. Because Billy's not scheduled to do anything tonight. She's like, let's just go home. And Billy's like, no, I got something I got to take care of. And then we cut backstage, and as if my night couldn't get any worse, I get jump scared by Terry fucking Taylor.
Yeah, I saw him too. I thought I recognized that man.
As Hulk Hogan's quest to find Eric Bischoff, he runs into Terry Taylor, who at this point is a backstage producer for WCW.
Damn.
And Terry tells him where Eric Bischoff is.
Damn, it's almost like Terry Taylor is a talented enough worker that he got trusted with match production responsibilities.
I don't acknowledge that point. I bet all the matches he produced were shit.
I want to go find what he produced just to show you he has like one banger that you enjoy. Just for the meme.
That would be a whole episode of me just watching. We just watch Terry Taylor produce matches until I admit that there's a good match in here.
It's our version of an I Quit match.
Yeah.
I'm okay with something Terry Taylor did.
Tap, tap, tap. All right. So we go to commercials when this happens. And then we come back and Eric Bischoff knocks on, Hogan knocks on Bischoff's door. And he's like, Hogan's like, hey, brother, what the fuck? I hear you're stooging on me now, dude. And Eric is like, nah, bro, listen, you can't believe everything that guys like Sting and Sid are telling you. Listen, that's not it at all. Just come to my office. We'll talk. I'll tell you what's going on. Now, this could have been an interesting story wrinkle of, Hogan trusting Bischoff because he was late and didn't hear Bischoff call him a loser. And the rest of the Millionaires Club trying to be like, nah, Hogan, he's a snake. And Bischoff and Eric Hogan be like, no, wait, dude. Me and Bischoff go way back, brother. I trust Eric. And then eventually leads to the obvious payoff where Eric Bischoff betrays Hulk Hogan. That could have been a good story beat, actually.
Could have milked some juice from that, milked some juice. Anyway,
instead, here's what happens. So we cut back to the ring, and Billy Kidman comes out, and
because he's new blood, he gets his music and his pyro. We're continuing this whole thing.
Except they are not consistent about it as the show
goes.
Millionaires Club
we'll
people
get there.
Fucking music eventually.
We'll get there.
Yeah, so Billy Kidman comes to the ring, and he's like, I feel like I've gotten a get out of jail free card, and how me and the new blood have been held back by the old guard. Tonight is his night, and he wants to address Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
So we are here for the short-lived Billy Kidman Hulk Hogan feud, because I guess Hulk Hogan got a little too paranoid about the boys / the dirt sheets saying he's a politicking asshole who won't put anybody over. So he's like, fuck you, brother. I will put over new talent, dude. I'll feud with Billy Kidman, brother.
What a great pick from the Hulkster there. He really knows how to find those top future stars.
So anyway, Billy Kidman, he's like, I know I've been hearing what you've had to say about me the last few weeks, which for context, that was Hulk Hogan in like interviews shitting on Billy Kidman, stuff that has not ever been on television. He went on the Bubba the Love Sponge show, I'm sure.
Of course he did.
I don't know if that's for sure, but like knowing Hogan, there's like a 90% chance that he's talking about something. We're talking about something he said on the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
For shoot or for kayfabe?
I think this is based on shoot interviews that Hogan may have did, but I don't know.
It's made doubly funny if Hogan didn't fucking like Billy Kidman, but he's over here being like, oh, I'll put him over though, brother. See, I can totally work with people, dude. I'm not impossible to work with. Please, Vince, take me back. Get me out of here. Vince, get me out of here.
I mean, maybe my perception is being colored here by the fact that in TNA, Hogan would do public interviews and trash TNA talent while he was in TNA. So, it's not like Hogan's above that kind of behavior, but I truthfully don't know if he actually talks shit about Kidman. Either way, if he did, this is once again something that has never been on screen, and most of the audience doesn't know what Kidman is talking about.
Yeah, because to me it came out as like this fucking child, this goddamn twink is over here.
This little kid man is trying to talk shit.
He's just randomly calling out Hulk Hogan, and then it works. And then it's successful.
Yeah. So Kidman is like, hey, I got two things I may not be as big as you, Hogan, but I got two things you'll never have. And that's heart and talent. Factually incorrect.
I was going to say, this man does not strike me as a talent boy.
I mean, he's good, but like Hogan is also good. Like, I hate to have to give it to Hogan here. But like John Cena after him, these promos about how these wrestlers like Hogan and Cena actually suck never hit for me because that's kayfabe not true and also out of kayfabe not true.
Like, Hulk Hogan is not is far from the most talented worker on the planet. Brother cannot he has his style and he sticks to it for a reason. But he can make shit look good.
He's really, really good at his style.
He can make his thing look really good, which is more than I can say for, people like, fucking Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, and then Kidman had two good digs that he maybe should have saved for after Hogan comes out. But he's like, Hogan, the only way you get that orange tan of yours is by staying in the spotlight for too long. And he's like, you say that I can't draw flies. Maybe that's true, I can't draw flies. But you would know about drawing flies because you're a piece of shit.
Ah, ha, ha, ha. That's cute. Whatever, fine.
And then while he's ranting, Hulk Hogan has left Eric's office and conveniently notices a CRTV in the back and sees that Kidman is shit talking him. And so he's like, all right, guess I got to go deal with this, brother. And
again, we can't just have Hogan walking out to the ring. No, we have to, for some reason, follow Hogan all throughout backstage all night. So we have to see him.
But bro, if he just came out when Kidman called him out, how would we know that he knew to come out? Last we saw him, he was in Eric's office. So how would he know?
Are they really fucking... Are fucking Bischoff and Russo literally actually fucking cinema sinsing with wrestling here? Like, how would he know when to come out? That just doesn't make sense. Ding! And so they have to
I do think this is like Vince Russo's idea of coherent storytelling is we have to explain everything that every wrestler does ever.
But that's so fucking rich coming from him because half the shit he writes doesn't make sense. Like, we've been in the Attitude Era. We see how deeply unmotivated some of this random ass shit is. Like, what?
Whatever. Hogan comes out. He also gets his full ass theme song. Glad we stick to the theme.
Yeah.
The Millionaires Club doesn't get their music.
Yeah, well, at least he doesn't get pyro. More on that later.
So Hogan is like, who do you think you are, dude?
And I will say, at least for Hogan here, if Bischoff's trying to be like, no, we're chill, it can maybe make sense for Hogan to have his music. But, still, the consistency is already slipping there.
Yeah, so Hogan's like, this is my first night hearing you crying, brother. You give the young guys in the back a bad name. And Kidman responds with, your run was good, but now it's over. All right, dude.
Okay,
dude. And then he's like, Kidman, if you were in my league, you'd know that isn't how this business works, brother. And then Kidman jumps Hogan after Hogan responds with, you know how this business works, but you're too busy being whipped by that girlfriend of yours.
Yeah, glad you couldn't say penis on TV, but or no, pussy whip.
No, pussy whip.
Pussy whip. Glad you couldn't say pussy on TV. So instead of literally any other phrase, you just decided to shorten it to P whip. That makes you look really good, Hogan.
That really emphasizes that you're censoring censoring a phrase and coming off like a nerd.
Oh my god.
So Kidman attacks Hogan. And then, but unfortunately for Kidman, he hits a flying nothing into the barricade. And
well, it was funny too, because again, continuing my theme of shit going south the minute I start typing about it in my notes, I literally started typing wow, Hogan is actually bumping for this guy. What the fuck is in the water over there? Okay, actually, no, there's the Hogan Retribution, god damn it. As I was typing that note, it flips around. But yeah, because he was selling for him, and I was like, that's kind of new. Would now
Yeah,
expect
so
Hogan to bump for Billy fucking Kidman, but here we
well,
are.
not for long
And
he
then it'll
doesn't,
last for like
brother.
5 seconds. Yeah.
So Hogan beats the dog shit out of Billy Kidman for quite a while after this, and then Eric Bischoff comes down with a steel chair, and he's lining them up, and Hogan is looking at Kidman, and then Hogan turns around, and gaga, Eric Bischoff hits Hogan with the chair.
Yeah, wow, no way. Which, like, yeah, great job building up this angle for all of 10 minutes, if that, before before you paid it off. That's really gonna pop the rating. Is having this angle pay off 10 minutes within the same episode.
Yeah, so Billy Kidman covers Hogan and Eric Bischoff makes the 3 count. Announcers go crazy as if this is like significant.
A match?
Again, am I supposed to root for Billy Kidman? Why is no one on commentary being like, this is a gross injustice done to Hogan? If Hogan is the babyface.
It's all heel commentary. Oops, all heel commentary.
Oh, brother.
So it's again yeah, the consistency is non-existent. I won't waste time pointing out, like, making a whole thing about the very obvious blade job that Hogan does here, because
everyone brings it up.
Deadlock brought it up, and we already are too much of a Deadlock ripoff at this point.
But
And
it needs to be
although the one thing
very obvious.
the one thing I will say is Bianchi was kind of watching this on the side again while helping build a computer, and Bianchi is not exactly the most like the most pay attention to every detail sort of guy, but he saw that shit, especially on replay, and he's like, oh shit, there's Hogan blading. So like even the type of people who like will pay the least attention to this shit are like, wow, I just saw him blade right the fuck in front of my eyes. So that's all I'll add is like this shit is so.
Hogan has always been an extremely unsubtle blader. Like he's bad at hiding blading.
It just comes across like he doesn't give a shit. Like he's like, oh, time. Okay, here we go. Fuck.
Whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
And then outside, Ric Flair has finally fucking arrived.
Yeah. Damn, somehow even more egregious than Hogan at coming to call time is Ric goddamn Flair.
To be fair, Flair was probably drunk.
Ha!
But you know.
Fair.
So
that is valid.
We come back from commercial and getting a replay that makes it even more obvious that Hogan bladed.
I know. The replay makes it look so much worse.
Because they frame it from the camera angle is kind in the original cut is more of a side angle. So it's easier to hide what he does. But the camera angle they use on the replay is facing Hogan's back, which means you can watch his right arm go up and nick himself.
Yup. Yeah, just all the way across without before Eric even hits him with the chair, he doesn't even wait to go down. He's like, all right, let's get this fucking over with. Like, it's bad. It's really bad.
Which is funny because if he had waited till he got hit, would be a more natural time to blade. Because then you could play it off as him like, oh, my head is nicked.
Yeah, like.
But no.
But again, Hogan is phoning this shit the fuck in. Hogan does not want to be here.
So then backstage, Hulk Hogan is bloody and be like, Bischoff, where are you? And he's throwing shit all over the place. You'd think this would be the one and only time we see this, because why would we need to see this more than once? It will not be. They will continue to establish that this is what Hogan is doing all night.
Fucking Hogan on a goddamn rampage. It is the show that y'all been waiting on. Is just our like screensaver for the back end of this episode. I will say shout out to Kyle, who while he was watching this on the side while computer building, just at this point just started to say Hogan at the RNC after Hogan did literally anything, which just so dumb, but it's just funny. Like, just be like Hogan with the world's most obvious blade job. Hogan at the RNC. Hogan rampaging around backstage. Hogan at the RNC.
Yeah. So then
I don't know.
backstage-
It just tickled me.
Backstage, Ric Flair is in Gorilla watching or I guess they already have the tapes for this ready to go for replay, but he is watching the promo from the beginning of the show. So we get another quasi replay of the opening promo.
Yeah, great.
Now he knows what Bischoff said. Okay. Then Ric Flair's music hits. And he comes out, and I want to take this time to emphasize, this is the third consecutive in-ring promo segment without a match. We have had one match on the show and 4 in-ring promos already.
It's fine.
So Flair gets the microphone, and he shit talks Vince Russo. I don't know. I barely remember what he said here. He talks about, he cheap pops about John Elway because they're in Denver.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I'm great. And he's like, your brother Russo, you think that I got old? Woo, I didn't get old. I got great. Woo! And so did Hogan. So did Sting. So did Diamond Dallas Page. And he's like, at least Bischoff has the guts to face me. And he calls out Vince Russo. And decidedly,
I will say we are in a slightly less Flanderized version of Ric Flair here. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not as bad as it was in 1996. So everything you're saying, like, it's not as fucked up as Muppet Flair just saying woo, woo, woo about everything. Like, we have a somewhat evened out Ric Flair.
Yeah. And then Russo does not come out. Scott Steiner comes out.
Also, yes. Also, real quick, one more thing I want to say about this Flair segment is as he's coming out, there's a sign that you can see just for the Nature Boy, except the N is cut off, so it's just Nature Boy as Ric Flair comes out, which I'm gonna start referring to him as that to distinguish between him and the true Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers. Thank you.
Correct.
Yes.
So Scott Steiner comes out, and he's like, you must have heard me when I was talking, because I see you got your teeth bleached, but you still got them crooked. This is referencing a very famous Scott Steiner promo where and we will absolutely cover this episode on the podcast one day, where he rips Ric Flair for having crooked yellow teeth.
Sure.
Got him crooked. And he's like, but you knew I was telling the truth, and that's why you got me fired from here. And Scott Steiner then brings up that you and your buddies over in the WWF, all the champions with one exception came from here, because The Rock is the champion right now, so he definitely didn't come from here, but everyone else.
Bro, why in the fuck can't this goddamn company that's supposedly trying to, like, get back its dignity and do its own thing, why can't they get the WWF out of their fucking mouths?
You guys think that AEW taking shots at WWE is annoying, but imagine if instead AEW Dynamite had wrestlers cock guzzling WWE instead.
Yeah,
have you considered that?
This is what IWC dipshits think AEW does. They think this is like what the fuck AEW like is with its pot shot against AEW. Like, Tony Khan taking shots on Twitter is fine, but like this is what they think it is them just constantly not being able to stop. Even WWE isn't this bad about taking shots at AEW. I still contend they're more annoying about it because, like, their takes are just fucking dumber. But like even this, like, they're not wasting their time on TV constantly being like, oh yeah, by the way, the WWF still exists, and like half of our guys have gone there and they're beating us in the ratings, but still watch us,
It
please.
like it's so weird. Like it feels like Vince Russo loves work shoots, and he also seems to think that if like WCW is like way too honest about the state of the Monday Night War, that the fans will be receptive to that instead of the more obvious conclusion. If you have a bunch of promos where your guys say that this show fucking blows and this company sucks and all the good guys in this company quit and went to the WWF, why would they not just go watch Raw?
Because they think they're like hard for like talking about this shit and acknowledging like all this shit that's going on, and they think they're making points in their favor. Like, yeah, all their champions are former dudes from us, except they like even just by virtue of constantly talking about the WWF, they legitimize the WWF as like their competition that deserves to be recognized. Like, this is not how you play the game, guys. Fuck. It's so dumb and it's so
bad.
annoying and it's not entertaining. It's just painful.
And Scott Steiner is like, you're a 14-time world champion because you had all your buddies in the back pulling the strings. And this fat guy in the front row with no teeth, he could be a 14-time world champion if he had all his buddies pulling the strings. And he said, and you are nothing but a low-class white trash. And
yeah,
so
and again, like the implications that like dudes are only where they are because of politicking in kayfabe. It doesn't. Oh, it's so tired.
And then he's like, you now it's impossible for you to get to my level physically and mentally, so I'm gonna lower myself to your level. And then Scott Steiner pulls out a pair, and he's like, yeah, look who I am. And Scott Steiner pulls out a pair of comically fake teeth, and he puts them in, and he's like, hey, I'm the limousine riding, jet stealing, kiss stealing son of a gun.
But like,
and while he is making fun of Ric Flair,
but like,
you give your
Ric Flair's teeth aren't even like that, bro. Like, I've never been terribly like taken aback by Ric Flair's teeth. I never really noticed them. Why is this the thing he's fixing? Okay, whatever.
Because Scott Steiner fucking hates Ric Flair, and he will make it known.
Hey, fucking, you want to know who hates Ric Flair more than Scott Steiner?
Holy fucking shit! So, as Steiner continues to do whatever this fucking shit is, Shane Douglas pops up from behind and jumps Ric Flair.
Oh my, it is so funny that we talked about this like very recently, like on ACW Double Tables. And you're like, yeah, no, he does pop up and like face Ric Flair at one point in WCW. It's here. It's part of the Great Reset. They finally got Shane. Now, of course, this is some shit that only like the mega nerds who watch ECW and know that Shane Douglas's entire goddamn gimmick is being like, Ric Flair, I will murder you. Something only they would give a shit about.
Otherwise,
like,
Shane Douglas is just like a mid-card dude in WCW.
Yeah. So again, even now, like they can't pull it off without it being a fucking like something that's only meant to pop the marks who definitely aren't watching because they definitely think Nitro is dog shit at this point. But like, holy shit! At least for me, it's here. They finally paid it off. Senpai has finally noticed Shane Douglas, and he's finally getting to like lay hands on him. So
Shane Douglas is escorted away by security because the gimmick is that Shane Douglas got fired. I'll talk more about this when we get to the Eugene interview to explain the dynamics at play here.
Okay.
But that is the thing. He is supposed to have been fired. He doesn't work here anymore. What the fuck are you doing, dude? So then we cut backstage and fucking Kevin Nash finally arrives at the arena.
Yeah, so fucking bizarre too. Like he's on crutches and like seems to be even more oblivious than Hogan and Flair as to anything that's going on, except unlike Hogan and Flair, he like stays oblivious like until he goes out to the ring. Like nobody tells him jack shit until he's out there and like shit goes down. So Kevin Nash here. Also, this scuffed part of the
This was
stream.
funny as hell. Okay, so they're trying to sell this idea. They're going to commercial, and it's this black. It's supposed to be like a black screen that you can sort of kind of see a guy in there. Except it is absolutely scuffed enough that you can tell immediately it's Bret Hart.
Well,
and then they come back.
Why was it supposed to be black like that? Like, because it's just gray. It's gray and washed out and looks like a goddamn glitch.
I don't know, but I feel like you were supposed, because of how long they linger on it, I assume you're supposed to be like linger on the screen. To be like,
well,
who's
yeah,
in
like,
this?
commentary immediately shouts out that it's Bret Hart. Like,
yeah, they go back.
Okay,
They come back from commercial when you see a closer. You get a better look at Bret Hart.
Yeah, is this pre or post Goldberg super kick Bret Hart?
This is post Goldberg super kicking Bret Hart.
Oh dear!
But it's before that they know he's never wrestling again.
Oh dear!
Let me see if I can figure out when he had the stroke, because that would make a sense. No, he didn't have his stroke. Wasn't until 2002. So they think that Bret Hart is going to recover. Like, they know he had a serious concussion and it was bad, but they think Bret's going to get back in the ring eventually. He will not, but they don't know that yet.
Okay.
So they're just hyping they're still keeping on TV and hyping the idea of like, oh man, Hitman's coming back. But him getting mule kicked by Goldberg and then having a hardcore match with Terry Funk like 2 days later was in January.
Okay.
So, scuffed ass January, where Goldberg injures himself, Bret gets injured, and
again
they put the title on Benoit, and then Benoit leaves immediately.
Bro. Absolutely incredible shit. Man, it would have been so funny if Benoit had pulled the shit where he brought the title with him and threw it in the trash for WWF.
Full
that would have been
circle.
Really funny to get away with that.
Yeah, full circle. But anyway, backstage, Flair is looking for Shane Douglas. All right, cool. And then Mean Gene interviews Shane Douglas, and he is like, "What? Why are you here? You were given your release. You don't work here anymore." So, context. You know the Radicals. Benoit, Malenko.
Oh, yeah.
Barrow,
the ship jumpers. Yeah.
Yeah. They were originally a group of 5. Shane Douglas was going to be in that group. But the WWF said, how about only 4 of you?
Okay. All right.
So the WWF didn't want Shane Douglas. So Shane Douglas just stayed.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. And so they just fired him in kayfabe?
It's now just only kayfabe that he quit.
Okay, got it.
But he did try to leave with the other 4. There were 5 Radicals, and the WWF said, we'll take Benoit, Guerrero, Malenko, and Saturn.
No, that is really... I did not know that. That's like a bit of lost history that Shane Douglas was in there too. That is extremely fucking funny. That brother's like, oh yeah, me too. And then he gets fucking stopped at the door and they're like, hey, nah.
Hey, man.
Nah.
No.
They had to come crawling back to WC. I wonder what that looked like for him. Like, what he had to do. It was
probably very awkward.
It was probably extremely funny.
For sure. So, Douglas is just like, you heard what they said earlier, even playing field. Anyone can do whatever they want around here. And he's like, Ric Flair has been. Damn. So
Don't
many
die,
shouty
please.
promos tonight.
I know.
All right, hopefully I'm good here. I have like 3 promos to go.
I believe in you. You got this, brother.
So he's like, Flair has made a mockery of this business, and I hate his guts. I've hated him since day one. And Mean Gene is like, I'm not gonna dignify any of this right here. This is stupid. And Shane Douglas is like, dignify my ass. I got one thing I need to tell you, Mean Gene. You can kiss my ass. And I'll be franchised. Walks out. And then
Cool.
finally, we get a second match. I didn't know it was
Oh my
possible.
god. Yeah, you're right. This is proper match number 2 on this hour show. Holy fuck. Because as much as I acknowledged in the moment that this was like that Hulk Hogan versus Billy Kidman was a fake fucking match that Bischoff just counted the pin for just for the lulz. It wasn't actually a match. This is the second actual match on this show. Oh my Jesus.
The show has 5 matches and about 20 minutes of in-ring time.
Oh my god. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
It is Sting and Sid Vicious in the world title tournament. This match is, they try to keep it action paced. They try to keep it exciting a little bit.
Bro. They try to, except here's the thing. I start typing, okay, Sting versus Sid is actually decent. And then as I finish typing the word that, right as I was typing it, right as I was fucking typing it,
it's the wall, brother. It's the wall, brother. The wall makes its way down to the ring and sets up a table. Sid kicks out.
God! Every time I try to be like, okay, this is actually going somewhere. No, fuck you.
Sid kicks out of a pin. Sting bumps into the referee. Sting misses a stinger splash. Sid is going for a power bomb, and Wall hits Sid with a chair. And then the Wall takes Sid and choke slams him through the table, because that's what he does. He choke slams people through tables. And then he walks away. And the ref by this point
gets up. The Wall doesn't people choke slam people through walls, but whatever. I guess a wall is. I guess a table is just a horizontal wall.
That's true.
Yeah, a horizontal mini wall. There we go.
So then the Wall leaves, and the ref gets up, and he sees Sid on the outside through a table. Doesn't really question how that happened. He's just like, well, all right. And he counts Sid out. And that's how Sting wins.
Oh my god. Yeah.
To be fair, Vince Russo era WCW is a lot looser with the rules, because that's what they did on the Attitude Era. Everything is messy, and they do weapon spots and blah, blah, blah. So the ref could have seen this happen and probably wouldn't have done anything anyway. But it's just very funny to me that they take the time to do a ref bump, and then the ref gets up and he sees Sid laying in a broken table on the outside. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess this is legit. 1, 2.
It's like, yeah, I mean, there could be plenty of perfectly rule following explanations for how this happened. Maybe he just tripped and fell. 1, 2, 3.
Who knows? So Sting wins by countout. Then Ric Flair comes fucking back to the ring and he challenges Shane Douglas to a match, and it's gonna fucking happen later tonight.
Shane's not here. Shane's not here, except he is, and he's fighting Flair. Also, it's a different Shane. I put in my notes. I'm actually hyped for this. That's probably a mistake.
That probably was. And then backstage, Hogan is still throwing shit around and looking for Kidman and Bischoff. He tips a couch, and he's just yelling.
In case you were wondering what Hulk Hogan is up to, it's still that.
And then we cut to commercials, and we come back, and Hogan is still looking at the back there. He, like, tosses 2 of the fucking 3 count through a door. And he, like, is continuing to look for Kidman and Bischoff. Can't find them.
I'm so glad we have barely any wrestling on this fucking episode so we can put more shots of Hulk Hogan trolling around backstage. You know, that they were really hurting for time with that 2.5 hour run time. You know, thank God they found room for more shots, more integral shots of Hulk Hogan just walking around backstage. I'm so happy that's what they spent their time on this wrestling show and not fucking wrestling. Who wants to see that?
Yeah, so then we get cut to the footage of the premiere of Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, Ready to Rumble is coming out. WCW is saved.
I don't want to have too many thoughts about this movie on this episode. There's enough to talk about as it is. We'll probably watch the movie someday. Because how else would we accurately cover the David Arquette in WCW arc if we don't watch his movie?
Yeah, no, it is very important that we get the entire context of why the shit David Arquette became an in-ring worker for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Then, the next contest. Jeff Jarrett versus Kurt Hennig. Winner all goes to Spring Stampede and competes for the world title.
Boy, gee howdy, I wonder which one of these men is gonna end up in the fucking in that tournament final.
They just kind of chop the shit out of each other for most of the match here.
It did start to heat up at some point, and then of course the minute it fucking does, Sean fucking Stasiak's music hits.
Hey man, you might know him better as Meat in the WWF.
Do I know him better as Meat in the WWF?
Yeah, that's so funny to me. They're like, they bring in Sean Stasiak, and they don't lean on the fact that he is the son of Stan Stasiak, a wrestling legend and a former world champion. They lean on the fact that he was Meat. And if you're wondering why he was named that, because that's a bit of a weird wrestling name, right? They had this stable called the Pretty Mean Sisters. Please think of the acronym for that phrase.
Yeah.
Pretty Mean Sisters. And their gimmick, and they had a male character that they objectified. Get it? Because it's a reversal. It's a gender swapping. And it was Sean Stasiak, a.k.a. Meat.
Great. That's fantastic. I'm so glad that's what they. Hey, do you remember when we covered the last episode of Nitro for the first episode of our Pro Sting arc, and fucking Bobby the Brain Heenan accidentally called Mang Haku, and Eric Bischoff had to do a whole fucking disclaimer on commentary. He's like, "Hey, listen, like it was honest mistake, but no, that's not Haku. This is never. That used to be his name, but nope, we're not associating with that. Don't say it." Now they're just like, "Yeah, he was Meat in the Fed." And that's what we're going to talk about to legitimize him, not his legendary fucking father. Stop throating the Fed's cock. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's painful. I hate all of this.
So, the former Meat shows up and distracts.
He's not current Meat, dude. He's just former Meat.
Ex-Meat.
He's gone vegan
shows
now.
Up. Beyond Sean Stasiak shows up and he distracts. Yeah, he distracts Hennig. There's a ref bump. He tries to hit a slam. Jeff Jarrett hits the stroke. Bree whoop, but not yet. And
not yet. Yeah. Thanks to Impossible Sean over here. He's
Impossible
JJ's
Sean.
got the dub. Yep. Oh.
And then we cut to Hulk Hogan. He's in the
Again,
skybox, and he's asking where Bischoff is.
He's still doing it. In case you were wondering. And then we cut to Kevin Nash, who's fucking oblivious to all of this, and he's like on the phone with someone, just vibing. Like everything at Nitro was going down in flames, and then Kevin Nash is just like talking to someone on the goddamn phone. Like, no clue. No, this is what you get for showing up an hour goddamn late to the show. Truly amazing showcase of the great new direction that WCW is taking, that we show three top stars just showing up increasingly late as the night goes on because they can. Great. Feels like a really great showcase of what you got going on there. Fuck.
Hey man, that's just a reference to in real life the inability of top stars like Kevin Nash to show up to call time. So if you think about it,
even in the new WCW, they can't get these fuckers to show up on goddamn time.
Yeah. So Mean Gene is with the Stinger, and Stinger's just like, I'm loyal to WCW. Fuck you. Russo and Bischoff, and not one of Sting's better work.
Bro, you can tell that Sting's match tonight was a nothing burger because his makeup is barely scuffed. It's not a banger of a Sting match until that shit's at least half worn off.
Yeah. So then we get to Ric Flair and Shane Douglas in our fourth match of the show.
Flair got his pyro even though he's a member of the Millionaires Club. Okay. When he gets in the ring, he tries to hand off his watch to a ring hand, but the ring hand misses and he just drops it in the corner, which was very funny. Neither of these men are in gear for some reason.
It's officially a match, but it also feels very much like just a brawl.
I know. I don't have any match notes, but like, of course, commentary said the word dirt sheets at some point during this match. Kill me.
I can't wait to hear what Dave Meltzer had to say about this episode of Nitro.
I'm sure Deadlock
We're lucky he didn't have an aneurysm on this night and die.
Yeah, he's just sitting there the entire time. He's just sitting there with like his hands on his head, his mouth permanently agape, watching his beloved art form crumble before him. Like, just permanently altered the landscape from here on out. And Meltzer's watching the apocalypse in real time. Outstanding stuff.
So, whatever, they brawl, and then here comes Vince Russo, and he hits Ric Flair with a baseball bat, and then Douglas takes the bat, and the ref just calls it a no contest, I guess.
I guess.
All right.
Wendy's sponsors the replay of that angle. I've always hated Wendy's. Please don't look at my credit card payment history.
Same.
I've always hated those bastards. Why would they support this terrible?
Wendy's burgers are garbage. Do not look at my credit card history to suggest otherwise. Wendy's fries, terrible.
What the fucking the chicken bacon ranch sandwich? Ugh. I definitely don't.
Selling milkshake smoothies at a fucking fast food joint. Ugh.
Ugh. The strawberry lemonade, garbage.
All right. Kevin Nash makes his way to the ring because it has been too long since somebody monologued in the ring. So
It's been almost like 10 minutes, Austin. It's not if that. Like we gotta get our fix. I'm Jones in here.
Nash gets in the ring and he calls Russo and Bischoff jack-offs. And he's like, these two want to play wrestler and attack the boys. And Nash
also, I want to point out, as he's coming out, fucking commentary talks openly about the Click. Again, they can't get this shit out of their fucking. They're doing both the things here where they can't get dirt sheet shit out of their mouths or WWF shit out of their mouths, and then they have the fucking balls to imply that maybe it was Shawn Michaels or Triple H that Kevin Nash was talking to on the phone. So maybe they're gonna show up tonight. Don't go over to Raw to prove us wrong immediately.
Please don't change the channel.
We're just gonna say shit. Like, they don't say their names, but they're like, yeah, the Click. Any member of the Click he could have been on the phone with there. Any member. And maybe they'll show up tonight.
Bro, imagine if coked out Shawn Michaels.
What the fuck are you doing?
Imagine if coked out Shawn Michaels got added to this fucking nightmare.
Shawn Michaels at the alternate timeline where Shawn Michaels at his absolute lowest jumps ship to WCW and ends up in the middle of all of this bullshit.
Oh. I maintain that if WCW had hired Shawn probably dies of an overdose.
Oh, 100%.
Because they would have encouraged that drug habit.
Oh, they would. Well, I mean, again, this is the company where Eric Bischoff blames Sting like staying home to get well on like the death of the company or whatever. So like he would have been like, "Nah, you're fine. You don't need help." And then he would have had like other Click boys there, like multiple Click boys there to keep enabling him. Like, I don't know how egregious like D-Gen X was about enabling him or whatever, but like Scott Hall at the time definitely would have been around to enable him at the very fucking least. Oh, Jesus, yeah.
So Kevin Nash is like, what happened to their sweet little wrestling show? Oh, boy. And Nash is like, I just got done talking to Scott Hall. Scott Hall is sober and he's in a real bad mood. And then, Nash is talking about.
He is. Hello. Hi. All right. Yes.
So Nash is talking about how neither Vince Russo or Eric Bischoff would have been here without Hall and himself. He's like,
which is actually true. One of the few good points made tonight.
Yeah, Nash says, like, if it weren't for us, Russo would have gotten decapitated by Shawn Michaels. Okay.
Okay. What?
And then Nash says if it weren't for us, Eric Bischoff would still be getting Vern Gagne's coffee in the AWA.
Oh, shit. Get his ass.
And so he's like, get out here and bring your balls. And speaking of appealing to ECW marks, here comes Mike Awesome to jump Kevin Nash.
Yeah, current ECW champ Mike Awesome. I guess they have a partnership going right now. Would not expect that.
No, they don't. They just signed Mike Awesome away from ECW for the same reason.
But they said he was like the current champ, I thought.
Yeah, because he is. But they still signed him.
He just took the belt with him.
Yep.
Outstanding.
He didn't tell Paul E about it, so he was still the champ.
Paul E probably that's just karma. That's turnabout's fair play going on right there.
Yeah, so Mike Awesome is still the ECW World Champion, and he has now been signed by the WCW. and he
Right.
beats down Kevin Nash with his own crutch.
I
And
do
Mike
want to say
Awesome-
though, as much as I was praising what Kevin Nash was saying in ring before Mike Awesome showed up, was like he opens by saying like, "What the hell happened to the sweet little wrestling show we used to do every Monday, brother? I'm terribly sorry to break it to you. You were part of the faction that
You were
ruined
a
this
big
show."
part of why that stopped.
Yeah, like you are because he had the book at one point, right? Didn't you say that?
He booked for most of '99. He was the
Yup.
booker.
So really, like, in speaking of Turnabout's fair play, I feel like you do deserve this beatdown from Mike Awesome a little bit. After
Yeah.
you trying to be like, "Oh, I don't what how did this happen? I have no idea what happened." Fuck off.
So Mike Awesome gets a microphone and he learned about he heard what was going on tonight, and he said it was just too sweet to pass up. Except he doesn't say it like they do. It kind of ruins the bit. Because the way they say it is like it's just too sweet. He just says it's just too sweet. All right, dude. Famously though, this Mike Awesome thing would be such a drama fuck as ECW was like, wait, we gotta get the title back.
Where did Mike go?
On.
Where did Mike go?
Yeah, so ECW does an arrangement with the WWE where Taz squashes Mike Awesome to get the belt back because Taz was signed to WWE at this point.
In 2000?
Correct.
Wait, how did they get Mike
debuted-
Awesome back? Was he still working for WCW too? Like
I think ECW threatened legal action to like let him do one more date and drop the fucking belt.
Oh, okay.
And then they moved the belt over to I think either Raven or Dreamer. I don't remember who beat Taz.
What the shit? Taz was a transitional champ for that shit? Fuck off.
But it made for the interesting factoid where a WCW wrestler and a WWE wrestler competed for the ECW title on an ECW show.
That is fucked. That is actually very fucked.
Yeah. And then Mike Awesome will proceed to be so bad in WCW because Mike Awesome's thing is just beating people's asses and putting them through tables and shit. And Vince Russo was like, we got to get this guy a character. He's got to have a gimmick. So he is going to have a couple of infamous gimmicks. The Fat Chick Thriller, where his gimmick is he likes fat chicks. Ha ha, laugh. And that 70s guy, where he just gets really into disco. And he dresses like Disco Inferno. It's that 70s guy, Mike Awesome.
But he's not. This is different from Disco Inferno.
Yes.
Okay.
There are more bad gimmicks that he does in WCW. They clearly have no fucking idea what to do with him, which is insane because it's actually very simple what to do with Mike Awesome. But
well, hey, WCW having no idea what the shit to do with ECW guys? No way. Hey, speaking of which, what the fuck ever happened to the Public Enemy? Apropos of nothing, what the shit ever happened to Public Enemy by the year 2000, I wonder?
I think by now they had tried out with WWE and had a disastrous tryout match because the APA stiffed them and they didn't appreciate it. And APA was like, no, that was a test. And because you complained, you're pussies and we don't want you here.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I know. So I don't think they're doing anything right now. Maybe they're back in ECW. I don't know. Okay. So then we cut backstage. We are back, and Hogan is in his limo outside talking on the phone to somebody we don't know. He's like, get in charge of my lawyers. And he's like, I am going to eat Bischoff's ass.
He's going to eat Bischoff's ass. He's going to eat Billy Kidman's ass. He's going to eat so much ass, brother.
All right, brother. But then Hogan gets really offended that his phone call he took in his open door of his limo got recorded, was getting filmed by the camera crew.
How
And
not?
he's like, get out of
No.
here. And he shuts the door.
Also, how the fuck did they fit this camera in there? Like, it looked so, like, cramped. Like, what the shit? And then
Yeah.
some white Hummer comes up and rams into Hogan's
Okay.
limo
This is a
face.
payoff to a storyline from 1999 where there was a white Hummer and they never paid. It was a mystery box. They never paid off. And now they're retroactively saying it was Bischoff the whole time.
Well, gee, I'm so glad that that this arcane fucking reference is only a year old. At least it's not 6 years fucking old. Holy Jesus.
So the white Hummer rams into the limousine, and
Face.
Bischoff is like, hey, buy yourself out of that, Hogan. And then we cut to commercial, and Hogan is being placed on a stretcher. And while he is, for some reason, the EMT lets this happen.
Yeah, I know.
Kidman and Bischoff, as he's getting put on the stretcher, spray paint NB on Hogan's chest for new blood.
Just like NWO. Do you get it? Do you get it?
And then our main event, it's Diamond Dallas Page versus Sting. Winner faces Jarrett for the world title on Sunday.
And Jeff Jarrett
And
comes
again,
out to be on
Page gets his whole
commentary.
fucking entrance because I guess the whole bit where they don't get their music doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? Why? So they get okay.
Jarrett comes out and decides to join the announce table for this match.
Bro, I thought he was like getting added to this match at first. It was extremely goddamn unclear why he was there at first.
Yeah, so this match is fine. You know, this whole show, I've been ready to tap out for like a half hour at least of this show.
I've been out since after the opening promo. After the opening promo, I was like, oh, this is already irredeemable. And then the first match just solidified it. Like I've been out for a while.
So Jeff Jarrett leaves later in the match. Jeff Jarrett leaves the announce table and goes towards Kimberly Page, who is, you know, Page's wife and manager. And actually, I don't know if they're married yet.
No.
Page starts brawling with Jarrett over it at ringside, and then Vampiro runs in and he turns on Sting. They were buddies.
I mean, I guess again he was in the New Blood. He was in the ring with the New Blood, so I just kind of figured he was a bad apple anyway.
Thank God we didn't have to listen to him talk. He just hits the nail in the coffin, which is a shitty Michinoku driver. Hey, so bada bing, bada bang. Page gets back in the ring and hits the Diamond Cutter for the win. And as he's celebrating the win, Jeff Jarrett gets in the ring with the guitar. And he goes to El Kabong, DDP. DDP ducks. And instead, Jarrett hits Kimberly with the guitar. So, okay. Big deal. They cut to commercial, and they come back from commercial showing replays of, like, Kimberly getting absolutely annihilated. And then this made no sense to me, and I still don't know why they formatted the show this way. Because after all of this, Jeff Jarrett redoes his entrance.
He goes backstage and like Bischoff and Russo are like, "Yo, go out there, go talk to the people." And he's like, "Okay."
Why did Jarrett not just cut the promo while he was already out there?
Austin, why would we have wrestling on this show? We had so much more important shit to cover. Like Jeff Jarrett walking all the fucked away backstage, only to immediately make his entrance again to make a fucking promo. Why? How could we possibly fit any like good wrestling on this show when we had to do shit like that.
Jarrett does generic, like, I will win at the pay-per-view promo. And he's like, he tells Paige that he is going to show Kimberly that he's got more wood. And I'm like, who is this man? This is not my Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett doesn't make innuendos. Who is this man?
Was he not an innuendo maker in TNA?
No, he's not an innuendo guy.
Oh,
he's not an innuendo guy. His only interaction with women.
so cooked they even ruined the Bree Woo man for you.
His only interactions with women in wrestling is to be a misogynist dick. He doesn't talk about how he's got a big cock. That's not the Jeff Jarrett way.
Jeff Jarrett goes on TV, says women are inferior, and Austin goes, "Oh, thank God, this is my Jeff Jarrett.
This is normal. Austin goes, normal."
Jeff Jarrett's like, "Women are bitches," and Austin goes, "Oh, thank goodness.
Women belong in the kitchen," and I'm like, yes, this is the Jarrett I know.
Yeah. I'm so glad we don't have a community remotely big enough to just cut off
that out of context.
Belong in the kitchen. Yes.
Yeah.
I guarantee you Cam's gonna listen to this episode and he's gonna come into my DMs on Snapchat and be like, David, why does Austin hate women and think they belong in the kitchen?
I'm sorry. I have to. If
no, don't apologize. Don't apologize. He's that little fucker. Just is he will bait me into saying anything longer than 2 sentences and then say fine speech. Don't apologize. He doesn't deserve it.
And then, so after he tells Paige that he's gonna fuck his girlfriend with his big cock, DDP runs out and they start brawling, and then we get a slow march of more guys running out to brawl. It truly takes so long for each individual person to show up.
Again, how could we actually fit any fucking wrestling on this show when we have so much more important shit to use our time for? Holy shit!
It's at this point that I first hear the word Millionaires Club uttered by commentary, and I'm like, when did they establish the phrase Millionaires Club?
Man, I was so gone at that point. I didn't even.
I've been so gone. I've been so gone that I forgot to bring up my Tony Schiavone line of the night.
Oh, we do love those.
During the Kevin Nash promo, while he's talking shit about Eric Bischoff having to be Vern Gagne's coffee boy, Tony Schiavone pipes in with "We're shooting now."
Okay, so they didn't say Mark, but they did see dirt sheets. They did say dirt sheets and shoot. Yeah, I'm sure Dave Meltzer's having a great time watching this episode.
Anyway, back to the worst beatdown ever.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Russo joint without the messiest of endings. Holy fuck, I do not care!
So the Millionaires Club all eventually come out. All the new blood eventually comes out and outnumbers the Millionaires Club and beats their asses and stands tall. Then Russo and Bischoff come out on stage to clap and, look upon what they've done. But oh no! Right behind them is Bret Hart! We gotta go! Nitro's coming off the air!
Oh, fuck. I even missed that part. God, I was so goddamn disconnected. I was just ready for it to be over. I'd like to thank this episode. So I did feel a little guilty, watching it in the state that I was in, but because this was we were going to be recording the next day originally, and I was like, this is the time I have to do this, and I'm so fucking out of it, but whatever. But no, I'd like to thank this episode for justifying how fucking zoned out my exhausted drunk ass was for the entire experience. This was so bad. It was bad, but not fun bad. It was just pain. It was dull pain bad. It wasn't a sharp pain. It was just a dull, pressing pain that persisted.
2 weeks ago, we had "That's the Wall, Brother," as Hulk Hogan is pointing at a skyscraper from 500 feet away. And that was good bad.
Eagle, yeah, Hulk Hogan with the in kayfabe like sniper scope eyes. That is entertaining. This is just
And Hulk Hogan having a bounty put on his head, and he's like, "I'm upping the ante to $1 million," as if that's how that works.
I don't think oh, Hogan, you don't make the bounty on your head more valuable, please.
But this was just so stupid. It felt like a 2.5 hours of dudes doing really bad shoot interviews. And who fucking cares? I don't care about any of it. It's a bunch of assholes yelling at each other about how other assholes are the reason this place is in the dumps.
It's a bunch of assholes yelling about how some other assholes are the real assholes. I can't believe it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Yeah.
To quote
And the
the
matches were
Graceful
all dog shit. And the logic of the New Blood Millionaires Club feud from day one completely breaks my brain.
It's like from day one makes no goddamn sense. Even when they're supposed to be here being the fucking saviors, they're phoning it in. That's the fucking thing, is that this is Russo and Bischoff still phoning the shit in. This is them playing the hits, but on the world's shittiest remix, and they clearly do not give us enough of a fuck to put any kind of brain power into make any of this make any goddamn sense, let alone be entertaining. Ah!
No, this was, this one, like, as I said, I picked this one because for its historical purpose, and in that sense, I'm glad we did it. But God, was it awful, and I'm glad that I decided we got to.
Austin still actively refusing to learn the lesson that he will reap what he sows.
Look, I'm just glad I thought we couldn't do an arc out of this, so let's just do the one episode.
I am also glad, oh merciful content planner, that you decided this is a one-off only. Both of our forays.
We could do New Blood versus the Millionaires Club.
No.
It's not very
long.
It completely blows the fuck up in July at Bash at the Beach, because that was such a clusterfuck show that Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff quit. So the glorious team up from hell was only 3 months long. You could do it. It's not impregnable, but this is awful.
I appreciate that. Man, both of our forays into WCW 2000 have just been ow.
Yeah.
Fucking owie.
So next time, David is being saved from having to do Claire Lynch next.
Yay!
Our friend Elizabeth was so excited to do this. I just put it next week on the podcast list.
Yeah, a mercy for everyone involved, and Elizabeth being the excitable woman that she is, also the insanely busy woman that she is. We're jumping on this shit as quickly as humanly fucking possible.
Yeah. So next time we do a first on this show as we cover TV about wrestling that's not a wrestling show. I admit that was a bit of a stretch to make it a first, mind you.
Well, I was going to say, because we've done Glow.
But Glow is a show about wrestling. This is a show where this isn't a show not about wrestling with a wrestling episode. I'll put it like that. This is our first time watching TV with a wrestling episode.
Oh no.
Because you see, me and Elizabeth are both big fans of Dropout TV. We're gonna suck their cocks aplenty next week. An independent streaming service born out of the ashes of the old College Humor company.
Phoenix Rising
and
again.
they have a couple of shows where they talk about wrestling.
They
So
do. I've watched.
one of them has wrestling matches and one of them talks about wrestling. So next week we are going to learn all about how wrestling is drag and more.
Great. This is having a normal one on the Noobs and Knockouts, but then again, aren't we always?
Yep.
Even when we're having actual normal ones, we're having a normal one.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be fun. I truly am the noob on this one in terms of like the drag.
That's fair. I've seen the wrestling is drag thing before.
I've seen it, but I've never watched ever watched drag, so I have no context for anything.
I'm not a huge drag consumer, but I was a drag queen in a musical last year, so I do have some experience in that regard.
Elizabeth's gonna have to give us the hookup.
Yeah, right. She's got to be our inroad. I can help a little bit, but like truly, the guest star comes on to be the knockout. The true first for this show, the guest star is the knockout. Holy fuck!
Yep. So that's for next time, though. Until then, David, hit our plugs.
Yes, sir, dear friends. Thank you all so much for joining us for yet another episode of the Noobs and Knockouts podcast. We're so delighted to have you here. Also, we're sorry that you had to suffer through this one with us. But either way, we're happy that you're here. Returning listeners, viewers, what have you. You all know the drill. Thank you for once again welcoming us back into your eardrums, your eyeballs, whatever it is you use to consume our content. We're just so delighted. We're chuffed that you are here. And new people, hey, hi, how's it going? Welcome to the show. We here at the Noobs and Knockouts podcast like to think we are friendly to both noobs and knockouts alike. So whether you're brand new to the wild, wacky world of wrestling or you're a veteran of all the weird bullshit, either way, we hope you're having a great time here. We hope you want to keep coming back to have a great time with us week after week after week. We're going to make sure you know all the ways you can do so. First and foremost, you can find us on YouTube. We are the Noobs and Knockouts podcast on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Ring that bell. Make sure it turns a nice little solid color so you get notifications every single time we drop a brand new episode. Check out all of our playlists. Austin has been kind enough to organize all of the storylines that we follow into their own separate playlists, so you can follow something without having to skip around the whole lot between other non-episodes of that arc. It's great. Give us that sweet engagement, please, in the form of likes and comments. Helps us out tremendously in the eyes of the algorithm. Channel arc supercuts are coming soon to the YouTube channel.
I am mostly done with it, but then I got sick. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, no, valid, but they're almost here, folks. We can keep our promises better than George R.R. Martin, at least. That's a talk about arcane references for the nerds.
I have to beat George to publishing the Winds of Winter or whatever the fuck the next book's.
Hey, better guess than I would have made. I don't fucking know. But yeah,
now I got it. You keep talking. I'm gonna figure out which book's next.
Oh my god! But yeah, so check out. It's also the video version, so you can see our sexy faces. You can see me blasting bare chest in my inside out Hawaiian shirt and chugging on a slap bag of rocket pop flavored twisted tea.
Yes, slap nuts.
Truly
slap nuts here.
Well, slap bag, thank you. But truly, I was having a normal one. Okay, anyway.
Also, the title is The Winds of Winter.
Oh, he got it. Yeah. Anyway, this episode is brought to you by the letter A for alcohol. Anyway, so yeah, check all that out on the YouTube version. It's great. If you're a fan of the audio only experience, don't want to see me blasting bare chest in the Hawaiian shirt inside out, understandable. We have a bunch of options for you there, folks. You can listen to the Noobs and Knockouts podcast on like fucking anywhere you find podcasts. Our RSS feed blasts us far and wide. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts still around. It's now Amazon Music instead of Google Podcasts. And like anywhere, fucking anywhere. If you're not listening to us currently on your preferred podcasting place, go find us there. We're there. Yeah. And give us that sweet engagement still in the forms of likes and ratings and ratings and reviews is what I meant to say. Holy God. your ratings and reviews, but maybe a nice little 5 stars if you're so inclined, Meltzer score us up there, or even, some kind words suggesting to people that maybe more people should be suffering through these terrible episodes of wrestling with us. Just a thought, strength in numbers or something like that. I don't fucking know. Anyway, give us a listen on all those lovely platforms. But hey, if you want to do more than listen to us, if you want to find us elsewhere on the interwebs, we do exist outside of this little void that we're finding ourselves in week after week. And then you got plenty of ways to do that. First and foremost, of course, you can find us on Twitter at Noobs and Knox Pod. That's at Noobs, the letter N, Knox Pod on Twitter. Come check us out there. We do the whole Twitter thing. We joke and meme it up. We engage in mind-melting IWC discourse. We put up a post when there's a new episode, so you guys always know what the hell's going on. We pin that at the top of our page. Highlight of our Twitter is, of course, Weekly Wrestling live tweeting every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS. We are watching and tweeting about AEW Dynamite, or at least most Wednesdays. I just got cast in a show, and so my schedule is going to be a little bit shaken up for the next couple of months. But hey, every Wednesday when we can hack it, we're watching Dynamite and tweeting about that shit. Also, because I'm a shame mark, I get the chance, which admittedly isn't often, but whenever I do, we will also sometimes watch and tweet about AEW Rampage on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on TNT, and AEW Collision on at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT. Even though it's fucking juiceless and doesn't have the Elton John theme anymore, it's fine. I'm not mad. We're talking all that good shit about all that AEW whenever I have control of the Twitter. So if you want to come chat with us about that, you can find us there. On top of all of that, Austin, being the knockout that he is, likes to follow all 3 of the major American companies and what they have to offer. He likes to tell you guys about them, and sometimes even tweets about their big old pay-per-views and everything. And this is especially for all you noobs in the audience. Your opportunity to kind of see what's on offer if you want to get more into wrestling, see what might tickle your fancy. We want to let you know about all the stuff that's coming up for you to check out. It's also our chance on the show to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of modern wrestling outside of all this retro shit that we do. I don't know at this point why we put this in the Twitter section, but it's the place that fits the best. So, hey, anyway, my friend, what is on the docket coming up?
Radio. So, first upcoming is AEW All In London.
Oh, shit, that's the next one? That's crazy.
It is. August 25th. Bada bing, bada bang. And we got 5 matches, and boy, do I not know basically any of them because I'm like 3 weeks behind on AEW right now.
Hey, wait, I know the matches. Do you need me to handle this one?
I mean, I have the list, but like, what's going on? I don't know.
I can fill us
Timeless Tony Storm defending against the Glamour Mariah May.
Oh, absolutely insane! The betrayal.
It's so over.
It's so over. I was waiting. I was like, we're getting the betrayal. Mariah wins it all in, and then we get no, bitch. As the minute she won the fucking Owen, turns on Tony, cracks the heel over her forehead. It's all fucked. Oh, love is dead. Life is pain. This is the heat going into this one is nuclear levels. I'm so excited. Anyway.
Yeah. MJF versus Billy Willie Ospreay.
Billy Willie, that's what we call him.
For the AEW American Championship. I don't think that's right.
The artist formerly known as the International Championship, because we're running jingoistic MJF right now for some reason.
He went to Mexico and said MAGA shit.
I know. It's fine. It's fine. But
I mean, Mexican wrestling loves that shit. They had plenty of wrestlers do that.
I don't like real world issues like that being dragged into wrestling because I feel like wrestling is not the medium to address those issues. So it annoys me because it's always like, we beat the bigot in a match. Bigotry is defeated. Just like when we killed racism by electing Obama. It's fine.
No, we killed racism when Cody Rhodes had a biracial baby.
That's
get that.
well, that was
straight.
him burying it 6 feet under. You know, that was the finish. He finished the story. Yeah.
He finished the racism.
But all that said, though, I am one of the only people that was perfectly okay with MJF beating Will Ospreay in 59-58. Literally, justifying this in the Twitter section. One of my favorite tweets that I put out recently was that was Dynamite 250, I think, and my friend, we were at my place and like we were playing euchre the entire time, so I didn't really get a chance to tweet, but we were still watching. But like I hop on Twitter at the end, I'm like, all right, I haven't really been tweeting because I've been playing euchre, but I'm sure Twitter's having a normal one about the MJF win tonight. And then sure enough, but
Yeah, of course they were.
Of course they were. But great match. Some little girl got to chop MJF and go on her local news station to talk about it afterward, which was adorable. But yeah, hopefully Will Ospreay wins back the title at All In, and I won't have to think about MAGA MJF anymore holding the American
For me,
title.
as an MJF mega hater, I like it when MJF justifies me not liking it.
Yeah, fuck you. Every time I have to cop to not liking something MJF, this is the dynamic. This is why I go so hard on the Terry Taylor shit, because it's my revenge to Austin for him like ruining the fun of MJF for me half the time. Because I'm over here being like, la la la, it's great in MJF land. And Austin's like, but have you considered that he sucks? And I go, no, it's fine. And then I will have to eat crow on him doing shit that I don't like. So I'm playing the Uno reverse card and slapping with every bit of positivity I can about Terry Taylor.
I respect the play. I understand. And then for the TNT Championship, it's the Scapegoat, Jack Perry versus Darby Allin.
Bro, you really need to catch up because this shit was insane. The way Blood and Guts ended was they fucking Jesus handcuff Scapegoat to the cage. Darby Allin grabs a lighter, grabs an entire fucking bucket of gasoline, dumps it all over Jack Perry, and is like, I will light you the fuck on fire right now unless you say I quit. And Matt Jackson, who was also who was like handcuffed to the ring ropes, was like, no, look, it's fine, don't do this, we're done. Well, I'll give you the match at All In against Jack Perry, just please don't do this. And he's like, no, I need to hear you say I fucking quit. And Jack Perry's over here spitting at Darby Allin, being like, fucking bet,
light me on fire, bitch,
light me on fire. And Matt Jackson, that coward, goes, no, we quit, it's okay, we quit. So nuts. That was absolutely iconic. So Darby Allin and Scapegoat are just gonna kill each other. That's great.
Yeah. Mercedes Moné defending the TBS Championship against Dr. Britt Baker, probably.
Yeah, probably. It's still on as far as we know. Suspension be damned.
Hey, and then title versus career. The AEW World Championship. Either Bryan Danielson beats Swerve, or Bryan Danielson's quitting a couple months early.
Bro, this is like fucking insane. Like I feel like Danielson wins, but I don't. This could go either way, maybe. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe he does give it all up at All In. Like, I don't know. Fuck. Absolutely insane. Fuck. Like, look, I love me some Hangman. I want to see him win the belt again at some point. But also, fuck the haters. This is going to be an amazing match and an amazing story.
I feel like it would be poetic for Swerve, whose whole thing is like, I got to where I am by being ruthless, being willing to do anything to win, put it all on the line, go to any lengths, and he loses to a guy who is such a nutcase that he was willing to put his career on the line over a title match.
Absolutely. And also, like, Swerve has, like, everybody fucking hating him, like, because of his that was something they set up before going into Blood and Guts, was like they had a pre-match promo and like Darby's like, Swerve, I fucking hate you, and the Acclaimed are like, yeah, Swerve, we also fucking hate you.
We
and
all
Swerve's like, well, fuck all of you, and Mark Briscoe had to be there to restore the peace.
The word of the day is compromise.
The word of the day is shut the fuck up, we have a match.
Yeah.
but yeah,
listen,
and
I've
Darby
seen
won the
enough
Royal Rampage again, so he's coming for whoever has the title by Arthur Ashe.
And well, I've seen enough WWE PLEs to know that that's the whole card. So that'll be the end of that.
Yeah. Only 5 matches. Oh, what an embarrassment of riches we have. 5 whole matches. Whoo. I don't know how we could possibly fit any more into a 5-hour pay-per-view card.
Yeah. Anyway, that's available on pay-per-view and Fight TV. Then up next for TNA. You can watch weekly Thursdays at 8 on Access TV or YouTube or TNA Plus. There's a lot of options. Guess what? It's TNA Plus monthly special season, baby.
Oh, whoa.
And they're Wrestling at Emergence, where the big gimmick for the big match announce is we are going to Ultimate X. Mike Bailey is putting it on the line at Ultimate X.
The Speedball.
And hey, the third most important person in Chase U is in the match.
Okay.
WWE NXT is sending their best.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, fuck. Like, what do you want me to say here? Yeah, as usual.
But that feel like you can tell that WWE is really putting all the stars are going to TNA.
All this, yeah, I'm sure. They're really loading it up here.
Then upcoming that's for WWE, which Raw Mondays at 8 on USA, Fridays at 8 on Fox. That's very soon going to change. But for now, that's the situation. Up next for them, it will be Bash in Berlin.
Okay.
I wonder where that one's going to take place. That is happening on August 31st. And we actually have a match that was announced about 5 minutes ago on Raw, which we are recording in the middle of.
Oh, hey.
It will be Gunther defending his title against Randy Orton.
Okay. The new world champion, and he's going up against Randy Orton to start. You know what? Sure, Orton's solid.
Not a bad first defense.
Not a bad first defense.
Orton can only be lazy and lame against Gunther, I think.
Yeah, Gunther could probably get a good match out of Orton.
I know that Randy Orton has a great reputation as an in-ring wrestler and being a master of the fundamentals and psychology, and he's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, and yada, yada, yada. I hate Randy Orton because when he doesn't care, holy shit, he is unbearably boring. And I watched so much of Randy Orton's career when he did not give a fuck.
That's true, man.
So I'm sorry. I hate Randy Orton. I think he's boring. He coasted so hard on his family name.
Bro, every time we see him, like when we're covering 2010 shit, I'm just like, okay, he's here too.
He doesn't care either at this point.
God. It feels like sometimes he cares, but not. No.
Hell, he cared so little during that era of time. His pose changed from it became
shrugging.
It became like
It's literally he like shrugs and duck faces during it. He knows what a fucking meme it is that he knows how little he gives a fuck.
Mm-hmm. But whatever, we'll see more of that coming in, and a new special thing that I'm gonna try to do this year. We'll see if I can keep up with it. But starting this weekend is the 5-Star Grand Prix. It's World Wonder Stardom Wrestling. Had to remember the name.
Okay. Yeah, that was a bit of a mouthful.
Everyone just calls it Stardom, of course. But officially, it's like World Wonder Stardom Ring or something. It's World Wonder Ring Stardom. is the official name.
I did not
And
know that. That's kind of neat.
yeah, it's basically similar to in New Japan's G1, which I didn't care about this year. But I was like, fuck it. I want to give Stardom a shot. Let's watch the Grand Prix, especially because AEW's Anna Jay is in it this year.
Yeah.
But it's round robin, baby. 4 blocks, 7 wrestlers a block, round robin. Top 2 in each block fight in the quarterfinals in a single elimination tournament. I love me some tournaments.
Yeah. We do love, especially when the Robins are round. It's just so satisfying.
Now, I will go deeper into my research on our next episode with Elizabeth, and even though that episode will air after the Stardom the 5-star Grand Prix starts, because I think Elizabeth would get a kick out of it. But if I want to give you a little teaser of what I'm gonna talk about with the Stardom preview, I have been doing the research to learn what's going down in Stardom. And Stardom, they just combined 2 heel factions to make a new super heel faction called Hate. It's Hate. They just call it Hate, and it's an acronym.
Oh,
and
it's an acronym.
The acronym spells harass, abuse, terrorize, eradicate.
That's iconic. I love that, actually.
Yeah, and I know all the baby faces in Stardom are kind of cool, but also I'm feeling hate-filled, brother. I kind of want to root for them to eradicate.
Bro, Stardom heels are kind of like goated. From everything I know about them, like the Stardom heels just go fucking crazy,
in
and I love it.
Stardom, you know you turned heel when you start wearing all black and getting really emo.
Oh no, not the emo girls.
Like they're like all the golf girls in Stardom are evil. That's the law of the land.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so I'll be keeping up with that. I might live tweet some of the shows that are capable for me to live tweet. For example, their show on one of their shows on August 11th. Their show on August 11th has a 8 Eastern time start time of 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So like might try to catch that live and tweet about it. We will see.
We'll find out.
But that would be neat. Depends. Stardom has a lot more shows that start in like the middle of the day in Japan. So it's like, when you do the time conversion, that becomes like late night in America, but not. This starts at 3 a.m. Like New Japan.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
New Japan, you're doing all-nighters, or you're setting an alarm clock for 3 a.m. to watch that live.
Oh baby, the lengths we go to be fucking nerds. Oh god. Anyway,
and you can watch every single show of Stardom on Stardom World, their streaming service. It's like 920 yen, which if you don't immediately know that conversion, it's about $650. $6.50 a month.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Yes, no, it is not. For a long time, I don't know if New Japan World still does it, but with New Japan World started up right near when the WWE Network started, so their gimmick was they were 9.99 yen.
Jesus Christ, that's funny. 9.99. Get out of here.
They gotta keep the WWE pricing scheme.
The marketing, it's important.
$9.99.
Those single dollars, they add up,
Yeah, which of course, for people who don't know, the yen is worth more or less. A dollar is more or less 100 yen. It's not, obviously that's not exact, and the yen's been having a real bad time economically right now. But if you need a shorthand for how expensive stuff is in yen, like just put a dollar, put like a dollar, put like a cent point, like before the last 2 digits, and you're like, yeah, it's about right.
That's close enough.
Yeah. But okay. So that's
Damn.
all for today.
We got a whole thing out of that. Outstanding.
Yeah, and
So,
again, I will talk more about what I've learned about Stardom when Elizabeth is here, and she might appreciate it.
oh, that's gonna be a fun one to talk about. She will adore that shit. She will have so much fun with that shit. Oh man, just a whole fun. It's gonna be fun next week. Oh, listen. Anyway, so yeah, so check all that out at Noobs and Knox Pod. It's a grand old time. If you like listening to us ramble about wrestling on this show, you'll like hearing us. You'll like listening to us ramble about wrestling on the Twitter as well. The voices carry over. We have fun. It's a whole thing. At Noobs and Knoxpod on Twitter. Check us out. If you want to get in more direct and long form contact with us, however, you can do so at our email address, noobsandknockoutspod@gmail.com. That's noobs, the word and, knockoutspod@gmail.com. Come say hi to us there. Tell us what you think about the show. Request things you want to see us cover on the show. To tell us that our hot takes are based or cringe or, whatever the hell. Start discourse. Say hi. We love people saying hi. We would love to say hi back. noobsandknockoutspod@gmail.com. And of course, finally, if you want to more directly support the podcast, you can do so over on our Patreon. We are also the Noobs and Knockouts podcast on Patreon. The link for that is in our Twitter. Our free tier gets you a shout out at the end of each episode. Our $1 a month gets you a shout out at the end of each episode and early releases for upcoming episodes. That's always exciting. So, doing our shout out at the free tier, shout out to friend of the show, Gabe Chavez. And at our $1 tier, shout out to Sugar Daddy, El Lucha Dead, Money, 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 and I Want to Sit Under the Learning Tree, TM. Thank you all so much for your support of the show, for being friends of the show. It means a lot, whether it's just vouching your support by putting your name on there or sending us a little bit of money every month. Either way, it means a lot. It helps us out tremendously in a material sense to have some of that money coming in, building up gradually, lets us do more with the show, lets us bring you guys more, maybe adds us more lets us add more perks and fun shit to the Patreon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just good for everybody involved. So thank you all so much. It means a lot. If you want to hop on with our friends of the show, be sure to do so over on our Patreon account. Means the world. All that good stuff. Once again, the link for that is in our Twitter.
See y'all next time.
Hasta luego.